Chapter 475. Even though Patriarch Ning would not let Ning Xian marry Yun Qingya, Yun Luofeng had saved Ning Xian's life. He did not want anything to happen to the Yun family. The Tian family was different from the medical city. Tianya was too powerful. If she offended that old man, no one could protect her. Why should my master apologize? Xiao Bai, who had just arrived, heard Patriarch Ning's words. She angrily put her hands on her hips, and her cute little face flushed red. You ignorant people, even if Tianya comes, you have to call my master. You actually dare to ask my master to apologize? Pfft. Tianku could not hold it in and laughed out loud. Her eyes were full of mockery. Little girl, didn't your parents tell you that if you boast, your tongue will be cut off? If you said that Yun Luofeng acknowledged Tianya as his master, I might have believed it. But you dare to say that Tianya also has to call her master? Do you think we're stupid? Will we believe such nonsense? Hearing this, the crowd began to ridicule Lin Ruobai. Their eyes filled with disdain as they looked at him. Yun Luofeng also looked at Lin Ruobai in surprise. A hint of contemplation appeared in his dark eyes. Xiaobai was not someone who would boast. Since she said such words, there must be a reason. But she did not know Tianya, so how could she take him in as a disciple? Speaking of taking in a disciple, there was once an old man who claimed that he wanted to take her as his master. Could it be? I'm telling the truth. Right now, Tianya is on his way. He will reach the Ning family soon. Lin Ruobai stomped her foot and said angrily. Her master was afraid that it would be too late to call for reinforcements, and she was worried that her master would be bullied by the Ning family. So she secretly sent a message to Tianya. Now that so much time had passed, with Tianya's speed, he should be able to reach the Ning family soon. Little brat. In order to study medicine, Tianya had long found a secluded place to hide, not allowing anyone to disturb him. Even my Tian family doesn't know his exact location, yet you're able to find him? Tianku sneered. Such a lie. Do you think we'll believe it? Lin Ruobai curled her lips. You can't find Tianya because he doesn't want you to find him. It doesn't mean that I can't find him either. Her words made Tianku's expression change greatly, and her eyes burned with anger. Little girl, if you continue to spout nonsense, I'll tear your mouth apart. Tianya is a member of our Tian family. How could he not wish for us to find him? Let me tell you, just 2 months ago, Tianya returned to the Tian family. 2 months ago, Lin Ruobai laughed lightly. I'm sorry, 2 months ago, Tianya was a guest at my house. You actually said that he went back to the Tian family? Seeing that her lie was seen through, Tianku flew into a rage out of humiliation. Of course, she would never admit that Tianya had been to this lass's house. She would only think that this little girl was deliberately going against her. Damn girl, you're too presumptuous. I'll never forgive you. Tianku's body stirred up a fierce gust of wind, and her body instantly rushed towards Lin Ruobai, her eyes filled with thick killing intent. Looking at this scene, family head Ning helplessly shook his head. If Yun Luofeng obediently apologized, he might be able to plead for leniency. Unfortunately, this pair of master and disciple were too arrogant, and he could not do anything. After all, if Tianya fancied Yun Luofeng's talent and wanted to take her as his disciple, it would be somewhat believable. But to say that divine Dr. Tianya wanted to take a little girl in her teens as his master, was that possible? Chapter 476. Thump. Just as Tianku was about to reach Lin Ruobai, a hand suddenly reached out from the side and pulled Lin Ruobai's body into an embrace. A slender, jade-like palm then landed on Tianku's chest. With just one move, Tianku's body was thrown out of the way and slammed fiercely onto the table. The table broke into 2 pieces and fell to the ground. The entire hall fell silent. Everyone's eyes stared unblinkingly at the peerlessly beautiful young girl in snow-white robes, dumbstruck. The young girl furrowed her brows and lowered her head to look at the little girl in her arms. She then asked, "Are you hurt?" Lin Ruobai stared at the domineering and peerlessly beautiful figure in front of her. Her heart unconsciously calmed down and her eyes became a little dazed. If her master was a man, no one in the world would not be moved by her. Unfortunately, she's a woman. However, Lin Ruobai made a decision in her heart. If she were to find a man in the future, she would use her master as her standard. This kind of domineering and gentle person. Who could resist her charm? I'm fine. Lin Ruobai returned to her senses and shook her head. Her adorable little face lit up with a brilliant smile. Besides, I know that with you here, master, no one can hurt me. Wait for me at the side. I'll take care of things here. After Yin Luofeng had spoken, his jet-black eyes turned towards Tian Ku, who was crawling up from the ground. Yin Luofeng. Tian Ku gritted her teeth hatefully and spat out a mouthful of blood. She glared angrily at the young girl's peerlessly beautiful face. Ever since she had left Long Yuan country, she had returned to the Tian family and had been cultivating tirelessly. Now, she had broken through to the mid-stage of the earth martial artist. Initially, she had thought that based on her power, she would be able to crush Yin Luofeng. However, who would have thought that this young girl would only need to use one palm to push her back? Wouldn't this make her lose all her dignity? How could she tolerate such humiliation? Go to hell for me. Ha ha. Suddenly, a powerful energy surged from her body. This energy continued to rise until it reached the peak of the mid-stage of the earth martial artist. Then, it broke through to the high level of the earth martial artist. Sister. Tian Lin's expression changed when he saw Tian Ku's actions. You used the Tian family's secret skill to increase your strength? Once the effect of the secret skill wears off, your rank will drop to a low-level earth spirit. This is the side effect of the Tian family's secret technique. If one used the secret skill, although one could instantly break through a level, after a period of time, not only would the user return to their original position, but they would also drop a level. Therefore, under normal circumstances, no one would use secret skills. Yin Luofeng, I didn't think that a general's granddaughter like you would be able to reach the earth spirit realm without any conditions. The threat you pose to me is too great. Today I must kill you here. Even though both of them were high-level earth spiritualists, Tian Ku was very confident. There was no other reason. After using this secret skill, not only would he instantly break through a level, it would also allow one's physical fitness to reach the peak. Unless Yin Luofeng was a heavenly spirit cultivator, she was definitely not his opponent. One needs to note that the Tian family's secret technique doesn't increase the user's strength for a short period of time. It was a real breakthrough. A short-term increase in strength was illusory. There was no actual breakthrough to become stronger. However, the similarity between the two was that there would be a limit. After reaching a certain point in time, the user would return to their original position, accompanied by a strong side effect. Chapter 477. Boom! Tian Ku's body was like a tornado, sweeping towards Yin Luofeng with all her might. A sinister smile appeared on her face, and her eyes revealed a cold, killing intent. Under the strong wind, the young girl's white clothes and black hair fluttered in the wind. Her eyes quietly stared at the incoming Tian Ku, and no emotion could be seen on her beautiful face. Fenger, be careful. Yun Xingya turned pale with fright. She hurriedly let go of Ning Xian in her arms and flew towards Yin Luofeng. His cold eyes contained a hint of anxiety, and he was just about to rush in front of Yin Luofeng to block this attack for her. But at this moment, the young girl's hand reached out from the side and pushed Yun Xingya away. She looked at the furious Tian Ku with a calm expression. The corners of her lips curled up slightly, forming a demonic smile. Her voice seemed to come from hell, causing one's heart to tremble. When did I say that I was a high-level earth spirit warrior? What? Tian Ku was stunned for a moment. Before she could understand the meaning of Yin Luofeng's words, the young girl's hand had already slapped her face from the air. Bang! This slap used all of her strength. The stunned Tian Ku was sent flying by this slap. Her body slammed into the wall, and blood continuously flowed out of her mouth. No! Impossible! How can you be a heavenly spirit warrior? This is impossible. She bit her lips tightly, her delicate body trembling uncontrollably. Her eyes clearly contained a hint of fear. Heavenly spirit warrior? Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Even the way they looked at Yun Luofeng changed. Exiner, your friend is a heavenly spirit warrior? The Ning family head turned to his heart in a daze and asked with a dry throat. To be honest, to the Ning family, the heavenly spirit realm was nothing. After all, the elders of the Ning family had already reached the heavenly spirit realm, and the family head was even above the heavenly spirit realm. However, how old was Yun Luofeng? A 15-year-old girl had already become a heavenly spirit realm? Who would believe it? Ning Xian nodded in a daze. Even she did not expect that Yun Luofeng had already reached the heavenly spirit realm. She remembered that half a year ago, she was still an ordinary girl who was bullied by the royal family. Now, less than a year had passed, and she had become so powerful. As long as a faction had a heavenly spirit practitioner, they would be able to gain a firm foothold in the continent. Even his father would have to acknowledge the Yun family from then on. However, it was too late for him to admit it. His heart had been broken. How could he face her in peace? A bitter smile appeared on Ning Xian's face as she thought of this. Little Fenger. Yun Xingya gradually recovered from her shock and asked helplessly, "When did you become a heavenly spirit realm cultivator without making a sound?" Yun Luofeng shrugged his shoulders and said with a faint smile, "On the way to the Ning family hall." She was here because of Ning Xian. If she did not have absolute power, why would the Ning family let Ning Xian go? Therefore, when she headed to the hall, she found a secluded place and drank the holy water. With the holy water, she successfully broke through to become a celestial spirit warrior. This was also the reason why she was late. Cough, cough. Tian Ku coughed dryly twice and crawled up from the ground. Her ferocious gaze turned towards Yun Luofeng as she gritted her teeth and said, "Yun Luofeng, you really aren't afraid of death. My Tian family has the backing of Tianya. If you hurt me, you won't be far from death." Chapter 478. Tianya. These two words made family head Ning come back to his senses. That's right. So what if Yun Luofeng had broken through to the heavenly spirit realm? The Tian family's backer was Tianya. No matter how talented Yun Luofeng was, he would not be able to face such a powerful opponent. Master Ning, get your Ning family members to capture this damned girl. I want her to have a taste of what it's like to wish for death. Tian Ku wiped the blood from the corner of her lips and spoke hatefully. This, Master Ning was stunned and frowned. Miss Tian Ku, that's not very appropriate. Miss Yun is my daughter's savior, and she has a close relationship with my father. I'm afraid. I don't care what relationship she has with your Ning family. You must capture her. Otherwise, I will charge your Ning family with the crime of shielding her. Tian Ku smiled coldly at Yun Luofeng. So what if you're talented? You will still die under the attacks of the Ning family's experts. This is the consequence of making me your enemy time and time again. Master Ning fell silent. His expression was hesitant, as if he was still thinking about Tian Ku's words. Just then, Ning Xian dragged her frail body in front of Yun Luofeng. She raised her arms and shielded the young girl behind her. She stared at Master Ning with stubborn determination. "Father, if you want to touch the people of the Yun family, then kill me as well. In your eyes, a daughter like me will never be as important as the Ning family." Master Ning's heart trembled. He opened his mouth to say something, but was interrupted by Ning Xian's cold voice. "You're a good master, but you're not a good father." Her voice was like a heavy hammer that hammered into Master Ning's heart, making him feel suffocated. "You're right." Master Ning laughed bitterly. "I'm not a good father, nor a good husband. I've sacrificed too much for the Ning family, and I've lost too much." There was a bitter smile on his face as he stared in a daze at the young girl's determined little face. "I had originally thought that my closest kin would understand me. However, I was wrong. You will never be able to understand my feelings." Tian Ku frowned in dissatisfaction when she heard the Ning father and daughter's words. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and kill them all." "Sister." Tian Lin's expression changed, and he grabbed Tian Ku's arm anxiously. "I like Ning Xian. I want to marry her, so shut up. Tian Ke glared at Tian Lin. Have you not woken up yet? That bitch Ning Xin would rather be with the Yun family than be part of our Tian family. Since she has made such a choice, then let them go to hell together. Tian Lin had never dared to defy his sister since he was young. When he heard Tian Ke's words, he immediately shut his mouth and did not say another word. He only looked at Ning Xin with pity and reluctance. Hee, who do you want to send to hell? Suddenly, an indifferent voice tore through the sky and entered into the ears of everyone. Ning Xion's heart leaped with joy when she heard the familiar voice. She quickly turned around and looked at the green-robed old man who had stepped through the void. She felt a lump in her throat and tears flowed down uncontrollably. Grandfather, you're back. Elder Ning walked towards Ning Xion in a few steps. His calm eyes stared at the clear handprint on the young girl's face. He frowned and asked, who did this? Chapter 479. Even though the old man's words were indifferent, one could still hear the uncontrollable anger in his tone. Master Ning trembled and said timidly, Father, it's me, Slap. Just as he finished speaking, the old man's palms swung towards his face. Instantly, the crisp sound of a slap rang out in the quiet living room. How could Master Ning compare to Elder Ning's strength? The slap caused his face to swell, and a trace of fresh blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. These days, when I wasn't in the Ning family, is this how you treated Exen? Elder Ning's eyes were spitting fire, and his face was livid. Exener has suffered so much all these years, yet you still hit her. I couldn't even bear to touch her, yet you beat her up like this. If it wasn't for the fact that my body had problems back then, and I couldn't manage the family, I would never have passed the position of master to you. Master Ning covered his face and felt wronged. Father, aren't I doing this for the Ning family? For the Ning family? Bang! Elder Ning was so angry that he directly kicked his son's body away. His old face was cold and solemn, and his gaze was as sharp as a sword. His expression was as if he wanted to kick his son a few more times. How dare you say it's for the Ning family? I've only been away for half a year to seek medical treatment, and so many things have happened to the Ning family. Ning Xion's mother has also died because of your mistake. In the end, you're saying it's all for the Ning family? Master Ning didn't dare to say another word in order to avoid being beaten again. After he got up from the ground, he timidly hid to the side and looked even more wronged. Until now, he still didn't think he was in the wrong. He just felt that his father and daughter didn't understand his actions. As family, shouldn't they support him? Grandfather. Ning Xion walked forward and gently placed her palm on the old man's chest to calm his anger. Don't be angry. We don't get angry with people like this. The girl's clear voice seemed to have magic, restoring the old man's calm. He turned to his precious granddaughter and said gently, Xen tell grandfather, what have you been wronged recently? Grandfather will get it back for you. Ning Xion paused and said, Fourth elder injured big brother Yin. Her first sentence was not to complain for herself, but to put Yun Xingya's matter first. I know about this. I'll settle the score with the fourth elder later. Elder Ning sneered. He even dared to lay his hands on my grandson-in-law. This is clearly insubordination, unforgivable. Patriarch Ning was stunned. He widened his eyes in astonishment and asked in a trembling voice, Father, what did you just say? You agree to let Ning Xion marry Yun Xingya? This Yun Xingya was the young master of a general's mansion, yet Elder Ning actually approved of him? I approve of him, but I don't know if he is willing to marry Xen. If he is willing, Ning Xion will be his wife. In other words, if Yun Xingya was unwilling to marry Ning Xion, he would not force her. If he was willing, then no one would be able to stop them. If it was any other man, as long as Ning Xion liked it, he would snatch it away and give it to her. But the Yun family was different. With his relationship with Yun Luofeng, he wouldn't do such a thing. Furthermore, with Ning Xion's personality, she wouldn't marry a man who didn't love her. Chapter 480. Therefore, whether or not the two of them could succeed would depend on themselves. The head of the Ning family was completely shocked. The old man actually claimed that if Yun Xingya wanted to marry Ning Xion, then he would immediately marry Ning Xion to him. If he didn't want to, he wouldn't force it. Was this still the old man of the Ning family who had always been protective? Don't look at this old man's calm appearance. In reality, he still doted on his granddaughter, Ning Xin, but he would rather wrong his own granddaughter than force Yun Qingya to marry her. The head of the Ning family really couldn't figure out what was so special about the Yun family that the old man would treat them like this. Are you guys done arguing? Tianke looked at Elder Ning coldly and said, I don't care what grudges you two have. Today, I will definitely kill Yin Luofeng. You better help me achieve this goal. Otherwise, you will regret it in the future. Hee. Elder Ning chuckled indifferently. His eyes were calm as he said, the Yun girl can be considered as my granddaughter. If you want to lay a finger on her, I will definitely not allow it. Father. Seeing his father's stiff tone, the head of the Ning family couldn't help but feel anxious. Miss Tianku is a member of the Tian family that Tianya is from. So what? Elder Ning glanced at the head of the Ning family. If you can't protect your daughter, then let this old man personally protect her. Patriarch Ning's expression became more and more anxious. He really didn't know what the old man had taken the wrong medicine. In the past, the person he revered the most was Tianya, but now, for Yin Luofeng, he had given up on the person he had revered for so long. Of course, the head of the Ning family did not know what Elder Ning was thinking. He worshipped Tianya because of his superb medical skills, but now, after getting to know Yin Luofeng, he believed that this young girl's level in the future would not be lower than Tianya's. For this, what was the pity in giving up on the Tian family? Ning Xian tightly grabbed Elder Ning's arm and stood beside him with peace of mind. There was no fear on her beautiful face, and her bright eyes were filled with stubbornness. Father. Ning family head's expression became more and more anxious. He was afraid that the old man's words would provoke the Tian family, especially when he saw that Tianku's face was getting uglier and uglier. He hurriedly said, the people from the Tian family are not to be trifled with. Don't drag the Ning family down with you. I think we should quickly apologize to the Tian family and marry Ning Xian to young Master Tianlin. At that time, we will be in-laws with the Tian family. Shut up. Old man Ning shot a sharp look at family head Ning. I will never trade my granddaughter's happiness for power. Not to mention, others might not know, but he had heard that Tianya had a falling out with the Tian family. Although he wasn't sure if Tianya still had contact with the Tian family, it was impossible to restore their previous relationship. Even if Tianya would protect the Tian family, he wouldn't send out his granddaughter just because of this. Since you insist, don't regret it. Tianku's eyes darkened. She knew that with Elder Ning here, it would be impossible for her to kill Yin Luofeng. Hence, after saying this, she pulled Tianlin and walked out of the hall. When he walked past Yin Luofeng, his arrogant eyes gradually swept over her. He said expressionlessly, Yin Luofeng, the enmity between us is too great. The next time we meet, I will make sure you die without a place to bury your body. Tianlin, let's go. Tianlin's eyes were still filled with reluctance. He glanced at Ning Xian. He wanted to stay, but after meeting his sister's gaze, he retracted his reluctant gaze. Chapter 481. Did I say you could leave? Before the two of them could step over the threshold, a voice that sounded as if it had come from hell suddenly rang out. It made their entire bodies turn cold, and their feet seemed to be rooted to the ground, unable to move a single step. Tianku's face was as white as snow, but the arrogance in her eyes did not diminish. She turned towards Yin Luofeng. What do you want? You want to kill me, right? Yin Luofeng raised an eyebrow and smiled devilishly. So what if I do? Tianku snorted and replied proudly. Nothing much. Hearing her answer, Yin Luofeng yawned lazily and leaned against the doorsill. His smiling black eyes landed on Tianku. However, I have a rule. If you want to kill me, you must leave your own life behind. The young girl's words were arrogant and egotistical. She treated the members of the Tian family as fish on a chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. Tianku's expression changed once again. Yin Luofeng, don't push your luck. Whoosh. This time, Yin Luofeng did not say another word. His white robes flashed like a gentle breeze, and he appeared in front of Tian Ku. You. Tian Ku turned pale with fright and hurriedly stepped back. However, before she could evade, an ice-cold hand grabbed her neck. Instantly, a suffocating feeling entered her heart. Tian Ku's originally pale face turned red and her eyes widened. She could not even say a word. Seeing that his sister had fallen into Yun Luofeng's hands, Tian Lin's eyes flashed with terror. He could not help but shuffle backwards, trying to sneak away while Yun Luofeng was not paying attention. He regretted it. He regretted rudely coming to propose marriage and bumping into a crazy woman who did not even place the Tian family in her eyes. Now he must hurry back to the Tian family and find someone to avenge his sister. Just as Tian Lin turned to leave, his body suddenly crashed into a body. That body seemed to have an extremely powerful force, which caused him to stumble a few steps back. Sigh, youngsters these days really have no sense of civility. Didn't you see an old man appear? You actually bumped into this old bag of bones. If my old bones were to fall apart, you'll have to pay for it. An elderly voice rang out from above. The accusation in that voice made Tian Lin extremely angry. Just as he was about to lose his temper, he froze when he saw the old man. You are Uncle Tianya? With Tian Lin's age, he didn't recognize Tianya. However, there was a portrait of Tianya hanging in the Tian family. Therefore, he recognized the little old man in front of him at a glance. Young man, don't randomly claim relatives. I don't have any nephews. The little old man curled his lips and subconsciously distanced himself from Tian Lin. A blunder, truly a blunder. Why didn't that girl Xiao Bai tell him that these idiots from the Tian family are also here? It seemed like he would be entangled by these people again in the future. However, after seeing the scene in the hall, Tianya was stunned. He blinked his eyes in astonishment. What's going on? Someone from the Tian family provoked? Yun Luofeng? How dare they? A raging flame surged from the little old man's body, and a murderous glint gradually appeared in his eyes. He understood Yun Luofeng's character very well. If it wasn't for the Tian family provoking her, she wouldn't have hurt them. Moreover, he had ignored the Tian family for so many years and attracted these people to be lawless. Now, they even dared to bully Yun Luofeng? Uncle Tianya, I am Tian Lin from the Tian family. My sister is being bullied by a crazy woman. Please help us kill that woman. Tian Lin thought that Tianya didn't know that he was from the Tian family and hurriedly explained himself. Then, he shouted towards the hall. Sister, Uncle Tianya is here. We're saved. Chapter 482. Tianya? After hearing Tian Lin's words, Tian Ku's originally despaired heart was rekindled. The corners of her lips curled into a pleased smile. Bang! Yun Luofeng flung her hand and flung Tian Ku's body away. Then, her gaze gradually turned towards the little old man at the door. The little old man had wanted to greet Yun Luofeng first before settling the score with the people from the Tian family. However, he had just taken a step when a wretched figure quickly rushed out of the hall and knelt in front of him with a thud, hugging his thigh tightly. Uncle Tianya, you're finally here. This woman is extremely audacious and doesn't respect the Tian family at all. Please avenge us, Uncle Tianya. At that moment, Tian Ku was not in the mood to consider why Tianya had appeared in the Ning family. She only knew that this time, no one would be able to protect that bitch Yun Luofeng. She would definitely die without a burial. As if she could already predict Yun Luofeng's fate, Tian Ku's eyes flashed with cruelty and the smile on her face became sinister. The little old man lowered his head to look down at the kneeling Tian Ku and said condescendingly, I am all alone. Little girl, it's best if you don't try to claim kinship. Otherwise, it won't be good if you cause any misunderstandings. He did not conceal the rage on his body, and a powerful aura crushed towards the woman in front of him. Tian Ku raised her head in horror and said in a trembling voice, Uncle Tianya, I am Tian Ku of the Tian family. We are family. How can you say that I'm trying to claim kinship? He. At that moment, a mocking voice suddenly rang out from the side. Didn't you see the godly doctor say that he doesn't know you? you still dare to shamelessly pester him. I have never seen such a shameless woman like you. Lin Ruabai placed her hands on her hips and stood next to Tian Ke. A mocking smile hung on her little face as she stared unblinkingly at Tian Ke with her big, bright eyes. Damn girl, shut up. Tian Ke flew into a rage out of humiliation and glared at Lin Ruabai. Who do you think you are? A lowly commoner. How dare you humiliate me like this? No matter what, our Tian family is still more shameless than you two. After all, we aren't like you who spoke such arrogant words, actually claiming that Tian Ye also has to call Yin Luofeng master. Since this little girl had taken Yin Luofeng as her master, she probably wasn't someone with a high status. Furthermore, she had purposely used this opportunity to say what Lin Ruabai had just said. Her motive was to let Tianya know that someone dared to impersonate his master's name. Idiot! Lin Ruabai snorted and said these two words disdainfully. Tianke was so angry that her whole body was trembling. She turned around and wanted to ask Tianya to avenge her, but the moment she looked at Tianya, she could not help but be stunned. This was because the old man in front of her was staring at her with a gaze filled with killing intent. Uncle Tianya, before she could finish her words, she was interrupted by the surging power from the old man's body. A wave of panic surged into her heart, causing her throat to become a little dry. The lowly commoner you speak of, the little old man paused, then said, is the eldest miss of Spirit Divine Mountain. Spirit Divine Mountain? Tianke's eyes widened in shock, her voice trembling even more. The Spirit Divine Mountain you speak of, is it Spirit Realm's Spirit Divine Mountain? The crowd might not know of Spirit Realm's Four-Corner City or the three great families of Spirit Realm, but everyone knew of Spirit Realm's Spirit Divine Mountain. Chapter 483. It was said that Spirit God Mountain was the territory left behind by the Spirit God. Because of this, people understood that those who could live on Spirit God Mountain were of extraordinary status. Even so, there were still people who wanted to go to Spirit God Mountain to investigate. But without a doubt, no one who entered Spirit God Mountain ever came back. As time passed, no one dared to have any ideas about Spirit God Mountain. And because of this, the people of Spirit God Mountain became gods in the eyes of the world. But now, Tianya actually told her that this lowly commoner was the eldest miss of Spirit God Mountain? Impossible! How could the eldest miss of Spirit God Mountain recognize Yin Luofeng as her master? Yin Luofeng is just a secular person. There is no way she could have any relationship with a force like Spirit God Mountain. Not to mention Tian Ke, even the others were looking at Tianya in astonishment. The head of the Ning family, in particular, suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. That feeling made his heart flustered. If this old man really was Tianya, then his words could not be false. In other words, Yin Luofeng and the Master of Spirit Realm had an unbreakable connection. If you really had the backing of the Master of Spirit Realm, then your status, Yin Luofeng, would definitely increase by hundreds of times. Excuse me, the little old man laughed coldly and said something shocking. That girl Xiao Bai is right. Even when I see the Yin girl, I have to call her master. The old man's words were like a bolt of lightning, crashing down and causing the originally noisy hall to become silent. Everyone's bodies stiffened, as if they were still in a state of shock from these words. Yin Luofeng was Tianya's master? What the little girl said just now was all true. It was laughable that they had treated her as an exaggeration. Uncle Tianya, how could she be your master? Tian Ke's expression turned crazy, and she pointed angrily at Yin Luofeng. Her status is low, and she can't be compared to people like us, especially since her power is not as strong as yours. Why is she your master? She did not believe that Tianya, who even the Tian family wanted to curry favor with, was Yin Luofeng's disciple. Her medical skills are better than mine. With one sentence, she pushed Yin Luofeng's status to the highest point. This was also the first time that Tianyu admitted that his medical skills were inferior to others in front of everyone. Tian Ke crawled up from the ground, staggered, and fell to the ground again. At this moment, her heart was filled with cold despair, and even her teeth couldn't help but shiver. So, Yin Luofeng had long known Tianya, which was why he dared to not put the people of the Tian family in his eyes. It was laughable that she had used Tianya to threaten her. The more Tian Ke thought about it, the more afraid she became. Her body trembled even more violently. She could not help but hate Tianlin. If it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have ended up in this state. At the same time, the Ning family head was gripped with regret. He never would have thought that the Tian family that he thought he had clung onto was just an empty shell, and that Yin Luofeng, whom he had given up on, had such a powerful backer. If he had known earlier, he would have let Ning Xian marry Yun Qingya. When did I acknowledge you as my disciple? Yin Luofeng's body leaned lazily against the wall, and his lips curled as he said, "In spirit realm, I have already said it very clearly. You are too old and not suitable to be my disciple." The people who had been scared silly by Tianya's words, after hearing Yin Luofeng's voice, were completely stunned. Godly Dr. Tianya wanted to take her as his master, and she refused? Chapter 484. The little old man looked at Yin Luofeng with hidden bitterness. "There are so many people here. You should at least leave me some face." His expression was one of grievance. If someone who did not know the truth saw it, they would think that Yin Luofeng had done something unforgivable. "I'm just speaking the truth." Yin Luofeng spread his hands. "If you came here to reminisce, I'll talk to you after I'm done with this. Then you'd better hurry." The little old man pursed his lips. His attitude towards Yin Luofeng was completely different from Tian Ke's. "As for these two people from the Tian family, you can do whatever you want with them." Because of what happened today, the little old man made up his mind. No matter what, he had to cut off all ties with the Tian family. He had to prevent the blind Tian family from using his life to act like a tyrant again. No, Tian Ku turned pale with fright. She could no longer care about anything else. She threw herself at Tianya and fell to her knees in front of him. "We are the same clan. You can't leave me in the lurch." "Same clan?" Tianya snorted. "Ever since I left the Tian family, I have nothing to do with you. You still dare to use my name to swindle people? Do you really think I don't know anything? Back then, it was because we are of the same clan that I did not kill you all. Now, you are still doing evil. How can I tolerate it?" Tianka finally understood what fear was. Her body went limp and she fell to the ground. Her lips curled into a bitter smile. "Yin Luofeng, you win." This young girl's talent was stronger than hers, and her background was even stronger than hers. How could she compare to her? Tianka closed her eyes, her eyelashes trembling. "I just want to keep my last bit of dignity." Looking at Tianka's determined expression, Yin Luofeng nodded. "All right, I will give you this last bit of dignity." Even though Tianku had wanted to kill her just now, she was not Mu Wuxuan, nor was she the Shao family. So, she was willing to leave her dignity. Tianka laughed bitterly. She looked at Tianlin, who had collapsed on the ground, her eyes filled with sorrow. "Tianlin, if I die, you will have no place in the Tian family. So, let's go together on the road to the Yellow Springs, okay?" "Sister," Tianlin shuddered in fear. He shook his head desperately and said, "I don't want to die. Sister, I really don't want to die." A hint of pain appeared in Tianka's eyes. At that moment, she hated Tianlin. If it weren't for him, she wouldn't have been implicated. But no matter what, Tianlin was her younger brother and the only relative she had left in the Tian family. Now that he had to kill him with his own hands, how could he not be heartbroken? Who asked Tianlin's talent to be so poor? All these years, she had been protecting him. If she were to die, those people from the Tian family would definitely bully him. If that was the case, they might as well go to the Yellow Springs together. At least they could have a companion. "No!" Seeing Tianka shoot out a silver needle from her sleeve, Tianlin's eyes widened and his face contorted in fear. His eyes were bloodshot. "Pucci!" The silver needle pierced in his throat, leaving a red dot on his throat. His body trembled slightly, and he fell backwards. Tian couldn't bear it anymore. She turned her head and placed a sword on her neck. She closed her eyes and exerted force in her hand. Blood spurted out from her throat and stained the ground red. Chapter 485. In the beginning, when she found out about Yun Luofeng's powerful background, Tianku's heart was filled with fear. But at the moment before her death, she calmed down. She was very clear about Yun Luofeng's methods. If she falls into the girl's hands, she will certainly suffer a fate worse than death. She might as well end her own life. It would be better than enduring the pain. This, Miss Yun. Patriarch Ning glanced at Tianku, who had fallen to the ground and was unable to get up. Then, he turned his gaze towards Yun Luofeng. His expression was a little awkward. He wanted to say something, but before he could say anything, a foot kicked him from behind. With a thud, he stumbled and knelt in front of Yun Luofeng. At this moment, the middle-aged man's face was full of embarrassment, but he did not dare to move. He was so ashamed that he wanted to find a hole to crawl into. Apologize. Master Ning coldly looked down at the middle-aged man who was kneeling on the ground and said coldly, Miss Yin, I have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. I have offended you. Please forgive me. Yun Luofeng stared at him coldly. If Xiao Bai was not the eldest daughter of Mount Spirit God, and Tinya had nothing to do with me, would you have recognized the wrong person? The girl's words made Master Ning's expression even more ashamed. Indeed, if it were not for these two relationships, he would rather die than bow his head. So, I will not accept your apology. Her words were very heartless and left no room for negotiation. Her domineering eyes were filled with coldness, and her lazy posture was filled with an imposing aura. Miss Yun, if you are not willing to forgive me, you can beat me to your heart's content until your anger subsides. However, the Ning family is innocent. I hope you will not drag the Ning family into this. He could die, but the Ning family could not be destroyed. That was his choice. Yun Luofeng shook his head. This man was indeed a good family leader, but he had never fulfilled his responsibilities as a father. You still don't understand? She raised her brows and lowered her eyes to look at the middle-aged man kneeling in front of her. I don't accept your apology because I'm angry. I'm only doing this for Ning Xin. It's a pity that you still don't understand. Patriarch Ning's body trembled. He raised his head in surprise, not understanding what Yun Luofeng meant. All these years, you've made Ning Xin suffer so much. Now, you've slapped her in the face to force her to marry someone from the Tian family. I'm starting to wonder if she's really your daughter. The young girl's words were like a sharp thorn that pierced into the heart of the Ning family's master, causing his heart to bleed. He turned his head to look at the beautiful girl beside him and raised his hand to touch her flushed right cheek. But just as his fingers were about to touch her cheek, she subconsciously took a step back and avoided his hand. Clan head Ning's heart tightened once again, causing him to gasp in pain. Xin, it's all my fault. I've really wronged you all these years. This was the first time Master Ning lowered his head to Ning Xin. In the past, he had always walked the path he had chosen and had never looked back at her. But when she heard her father's words, Ning Xin felt nothing but sadness in her heart. She felt nothing else. Perhaps all these years, her heart had really been hurt. What's the use of apologizing now? Do you think that by apologizing, you can make up for all these years? Ning Xin calmed her emotions and smiled calmly. If it wasn't for grandfather's protection all these years, perhaps you would have married me off to Ning Yuan long ago. Chapter 486. The head of a Ning family opened his mouth, wanting to defend himself, but he didn't know where to start. After all, what Ning Xin said was the truth. If it wasn't for the fact that the old man didn't agree to her marriage, perhaps Ning Xin would already be Ning Yuan's wife. Big Brother Yun. Ning Xin no longer looked at the head of the Ning family. She turned to look at Yun Xingya, and a smile that was even more beautiful than a flower blossomed on her beautiful face. I'll go back to the Yun family with you. Yun Xingya smiled faintly. All right. The head of the Ning family saw that Ning Xin was treating him coldly, but was smiling like a flower when facing Yun Xingya. His heart felt even more uncomfortable, and he was filled with regret. It was also at this moment that he completely understood that he had completely lost this daughter of his. Yun Luofeng's gaze turned towards the head of the Ning family and said coldly, For Ning Xin, I won't do anything to you. However, I will bring Ning Xin back to the Yun family, and I will love her more than you do. No matter what, this Ning family head was Ning Xian's father. Furthermore, he was only interested in the family and did not do anything to harm the Yun family. Therefore, she would not harm him. If, just now, the Ning family head had listened to Tian Ku's words and summoned the elders to attack them, then she would never let him off so easily. All right. Ning Xian seemed to have thought of something, and anger surged in her clear eyes. Where's the fourth elder? I haven't even settled the score with him, yet he actually dared to attack Big Brother Yun. Elder Ning also suddenly came back to his senses. He had been hesitating before, as if he had missed something. Only now did he react after hearing Ning Xian's words. Fourth elder. Thinking of what this old fellow had done these past few days, his anger couldn't help but surge out, and killing intent appeared in his eyes. Men, drag the corpse on the ground out and bury it. Then, bring the fourth elder and Ning Yuan to see this old man. Elder Ning coldly ordered. This. Tianya scratched his head in confusion. Can you tell me what happened first? Also, Yin girl, what is your relationship with the Ning family? Right now, he was completely at a loss. He had no idea what was going on. At that time, Lil White had only sent him a message, telling him to hurry to the Ning family, and saying that someone was bullying Yin Luo Feng. Therefore, he immediately rushed over in anger, but he still didn't know what had happened. Grandfather Tian, Lin Ruabai smiled as he walked to Tianya's side. It's like this, the people from the Medicine City want to attack Master's family. What? World Edge flew into a rage. He slammed his palm down and instantly smashed a huge hole in the wall. What did you just say? The people of the Medicine City were going to attack the Yun family? How dare they do such a thing? This won't do. I'm going to the Medical City to get even with them. Seeing that Tianya was about to turn around and leave, Lin Ruabai hastily grabbed his sleeve. She pursed her lips and said, Can you listen to me first? Tell me, what other atrocities have the Medical City committed? Tell them all at once, so I can settle the score with them. How preposterous. The people of the Medical City were too audacious. They actually dared to attack Yin Luo Feng. Were they tired of living? Lin Ruabai rolled his eyes. The people from the Medical City almost hurt Yin Xingya. It was Ning Xian who risked her life to save her. Immediately after, she recounted everything that had happened in the general's mansion, including how the fourth elder had gone to the medical pavilion to snatch Ning Xian back and heavily injured Yin Xingya. As he listened, the little old man's face gradually darkened. The fourth elder of the Ning family is really stupid. Originally, this little girl Ning Xian could have suffered less, but he foolishly brought her back to the Ning family. You caused Yin Ruoyan to come all the way to the Ning family to save her life. Not only that, you even dared to block her at the door. I don't think the Ning family had any intention of saving Ning Xian at all. Instead, you are harming her. Chapter 487. Clan head Ning's expression became more and more ashamed. He would lower his head into the dust to avoid those mocking gazes. All right, what's the situation between the Medical City and the Yun family? Tianya seemed to have thought of something and turned to Yin Luo Feng. How did you guys get into a feud with the Medical City? Even though this matter had caused a bloody storm back then, with Tianya's personality, he wouldn't care about these worldly affairs. As a result, he didn't know about the grudges between the two sides. Yin Luo Feng looked at Yun Xingya and said, Back then, my second uncle was at the peak of his fame. When the young city lord of the Medical City passed by Long Yuan country, he heard the discussions of the commoners, claiming that my second uncle's talent was peerless, even though Yun Xingya's talent could not be compared to those people and those powers. In the eyes of the citizens of Long Yuan country, he was the most outstanding one. How could the young city lord of the Medical City tolerate others being praised like this? As a result, this disaster was brought upon him. And then? Tianya asked curiously. Hearing this, Yin Luo Feng paused for a moment before continuing. The young city lord of the Medical City is just an empty shell. Therefore, my second uncle won. Because of this, the Medical City could not endure this humiliation and sent experts to kill my second uncle. Fortunately, my second uncle managed to escape their pursuit and return to the Yun family. Even so, he was still heavily injured and his strength was crippled. Furthermore, because he didn't manage to save him in time, his lower body was paralyzed. Thinking of the humiliation Yun Qingya had suffered all these years, she couldn't help but clench her fists tightly. Killing intent surged from her domineering eyes. The old man's expression darkened bit by bit. He didn't say anything to disturb Yun Luofeng. Instead, he waited for her to continue. In order to prevent the medical city from attacking the Yun family, my second uncle did not hesitate to hide in a dark secret room for 10 years. 10 years without sunlight. Can you imagine how he managed to survive? Hearing Yun Luofeng's words, Ning Xian's heart suddenly ached. She subconsciously grabbed Yun Qingya's arm, and anger gradually appeared in her clear eyes. How dare the medical city treat Yun Qingya like this? They absolutely could not be forgiven. Girl, after 10 years, why did the medical city attack the Yun family again? The old man frowned and asked. Yun Luofeng swept a glance at him. That year, the medical city wanted to exterminate my Yun family. The people from the Doctors Association came out to stop them, but the condition was that my second uncle couldn't be alive. If my second uncle is still alive, the agreement between the Doctors Association and the medical city will be nullified. Immediately, the little old man's face darkened. The Doctors Association has also intervened. How could the little old man not understand the young girl's words? If the Doctors Association was truly fair, they wouldn't have acquiesced to the actions of the medical city towards Yun Qingya. Obviously, in the eyes of the Doctors Association, Yun Qingya was the one at fault. Who asked him to defeat the young city governor of the medicine city? In the end, the reason why he stood out was because the medical city's actions were too big. Because of this, they actually wanted to slaughter the entire Yun clan. In order to prevent others from gossiping, he had no choice but to stand out. Of course, the condition for the truce in the medical city was Yun Qingya's death. Not bad. Yun Luofeng raised his eyebrows. The Doctors Association is nothing more than this. They're so unreasonably protective of their own. Since they're so protective of the medical city, then one day I will destroy both of these powers and make them taste the pain my second uncle has suffered. A strong storm surged around the old man's body as he coldly laughed and said, "What a good medical city! What a good Doctors Association! How dare you do such a shameless thing?" On the arena, it was a fair duel to begin with. Such a person is not worthy of being a doctor because of his defeat. Chapter 488. After Elder Ning heard the little old man's words, he added, "Some time ago, I had already organized the people of the medical city." I still remember what Lu Yin of the medical city said at that time. He said that with Yun Qingya's status, he was not worthy of a fair duel with their young city lord. He should just stand motionless on the stage and take a beating. The little old man had thought that he was shameless enough, but he never thought that there would be someone who could be shameless to such a level. Therefore, the aura on his body uncontrollably surged out. With a boom, the entire hall turned into a pile of ruins under his power. "Little girl, don't worry. I will definitely seek justice for you." "No need." Yun Luofeng shook his head. "This is our Yun family's revenge. It's better to take revenge with our own hands. If you have time, I don't mind you going to the medical city to watch the show." The little old man was startled for a moment before he laughed out loud. "All right, before you make a move on the medical city, don't forget to inform me. If I have time, I will definitely go and watch from aside." As he was speaking, a servant hurriedly came in, cupped his fists, and said, "Reporting to the head of the family, I have brought the fourth elder and Ning Yuan. Let them in." Elder Ning waved his hand and said indifferently, "Yes." The servant accepted the order and retreated. Not long after, the fourth elder and Ning Yuan were pushed over by a few guards. The fourth elder looked at the hall that had turned into a pile of ruins in astonishment. He didn't know what had happened to cause the Ning family to be destroyed. Then he suddenly saw the indifferent elder Ning and hurriedly retracted his thoughts. With tears streaming down his face, he said, "Old master, you must uphold justice for me. This woman relied on the jade pendant you gave her to act like a tyrant in our Ning family. She even attacked and injured people. This is truly unforgivable. Elder Ning raised his chin slightly and smiled indifferently. Don't be in a hurry to complain. I heard that you brought people to the medical pavilion and injured Yinqingya. The fourth elder's heart trembled. Isn't this all because Yinqingya is occupying Miss Ning Xian? I had no choice but to no choice? Elder Ning said coldly. Do you know that because you had no choice, Xian's illness was almost delayed? If Xian died, can you bear the responsibility? Fourth elder clenched his fists tightly and glared hatefully at Yin Luofeng. At that time, I was also worried about Ning Xian's condition. Besides, the Ning family knows so many doctors. That was why I wanted to bring her back to the Ning family to receive the best treatment. Elder Ning sneered. That's right, the Ning family does know a lot of doctors. Unfortunately, all of them were unable to cure my illness back then. If it wasn't for Yin Lass, I might have already passed away. In the beginning, fourth elder might have doubted Elder Ning's words. However, ever since Yin Luofeng had saved Ning Xian's life, he could not help but believe that this old man had truly recovered. However, he was very unwilling. He was unwilling to fail here. Patriarch, I have something to say. Ning Yuan stood up from the ground. His handsome face had a confident smile on it, but he couldn't help but glance at Ning Xian. He snorted and said, even without this woman, nothing will happen to Xian. I guess you guys still don't know, but when I was out a few days ago, I met a disciple of the Tian family. That disciple's name is Tian Lin, and he promised me that he would plead with godly Dr. Tianya for me to save Xian. Could it be that Tianya's medical skills are inferior to this Yin Luofeng's? Therefore, regardless of whether she is here or not, nothing will happen to Ning Xian. When he said this, Ning Yuan didn't notice at all that everyone was looking at him with strange gazes. Chapter 489. The little old man's gaze slowly turned to Ning Yuan, a mocking smile on his aged face. Youngsters these days, not only do they like to bully others, they also like to spout nonsense. Old thing, who are you? Ning Yuan saw that the little old man dared to speak to him in such a manner. His handsome face was shrouded in anger. I'm sorry. The little old man squinted his eyes and said with a smile, I am the Tianya that the Tian family used to bully others. At this moment, Ning Yuan's expression was very interesting. It was as if his face had been painted with dye, instantly changing to a different color. He bit his lips tightly, his body trembling slightly. No, impossible, you're Tianya. This is impossible. Tian Lin had never told him that Tianya would come to the Ning family. This old man must be an imposter. Tisk. Lin Ruobai glanced at Ning Yuan's expression of disbelief and smiled brightly. Ning Yuan, I really don't know if you're stupid or too trusting of others. That Tian Lin you speak of, he did not come to the Tian family to help you. He came here to ask for Ning Xian's hand in marriage. Boom! Like a thunderbolt from the clear sky, Ning Yuan, who had not yet recovered from the shock, was hit head-on, and his brain went blank. His good brother had not come to the Ning family to help him, but to marry Ning Xian? When did that guy have such thoughts about Ning Xian? Why did he not know about it? As for Tianya's identity, Lin Ruobai paused. It was acknowledged by the Tian family. Oh, right, the Tian family member's body has been dragged out. I don't think it's too far away. Shall I get someone to drag it back for you to see? Ning Yuan staggered and took a few steps back, his eyes filled with despair. The trump card he thought was his last resort turned out to be so fragile, not only because of Tian Lin's betrayal, but also because of the little old man in front of him. Since the Ning family knows Tianya, why didn't they let him out earlier? The old master wouldn't have suffered so much back then. Ning Yuan bit his lips tightly and asked the question in his heart. He really did not understand why Tianya had not stepped forward to help the Ning family despite being friends with them. Could there be some other reason? From start to end, he never connected World's Edge and Yin Luofeng together. In his opinion, a person like Yin Luofeng didn't have the qualifications to befriend divine Dr. Tianya. Unfortunately, things didn't go as he wished. Following that, the little old man's words immediately sent Ning Yuan straight into hell. His entire person stood rooted to the ground like a stone, without any movement or expression. I don't have much of a relationship with the Ning family. I've only come here because I heard that the Yun lass had been bullied. I'm still hoping that Yun lass will give me some pointers when she's in a good mood, so I can't ignore her matters. The implication was that his goal of coming here was Yun Luofeng, and it had nothing to do with anyone else. Didn't your Tian family look down on her identity? Since that was the case, he would make sure that these people who had looked down on her would never be able to reach up to her in the future. He had said those words on purpose. After all, he did not know what had happened before he came. He had only hurried over after hearing that it was related to Yun Luofeng. Chapter 490. It was obvious that the effect of his words was very obvious. When he heard the little old man's words, Elder Forth's expression changed greatly, and his breathing became uneven. Imagine this. A person whom you had thought to be inferior to you suddenly realized through other means that she is much more powerful than you in all aspects, to the point that you will never be able to surpass her. That feeling was as if a hand was squeezing his heart fiercely, making him feel so uncomfortable that he was about to suffocate. Luckily, this little girl was only an earth spirit. I'm a heavenly spirit after all. In terms of martial arts, this little girl is definitely no match for me. Elder Forth's eyes darted back and forth at the thought of this. He then came up with a plan. Divine Dr. Tinya, I never thought that Yun Luofeng would be acquainted with you, but I don't think that I've done anything wrong. Ning Xian is a member of the Ning family, and I had brought her back out of concern. What wrong have I done? In an instant, everyone's gazes were focused on the fourth elder. They all thought that this old man had gone mad. Did he not understand Tinya's words? Tinya is clearly on Yun Luofeng's side, and the old master stands on Yun Luofeng's side unconditionally. Yet he dares to refuse to admit his mistake. Oh, Tinya raised the corners of his lips and smiled at Elder Forth. What do you want then? Elder Forth glanced sinisterly at Yun Luofeng. I want to challenge her. If I lose, I'll let her do whatever she wants to me. If I win, I want Ning Xian to marry my son, and the Ning family will not punish us. Tinya laughed disdainfully. Elder Ning, this elder of the Ning family, is rather thick-skinned. He actually wants to challenge a 15-year-old girl? Doesn't he think that his request is embarrassing? Elder Forth did not seem to hear Tinya's mocking voice. His elderly eyes stared unblinkingly at Yun Luofeng. You don't dare to challenge me because you're afraid? Or could it be that my power is terrifying? So, General Yun's granddaughter is a coward who doesn't even have the courage to challenge me. This old man was obviously ready to throw caution to the wind. He knew that this was the only way for him to survive. Furthermore, he could help his son fulfill his long-cherished wish. However, when he said these words, he needed to face Elder Ning and Tian Yu's fierce gazes. Their gazes made him sweat uncontrollably, and his aged face turned even paler. But he resisted the fear in his heart and said these shameless words. You've disgraced our Ning family. Elder Ning snorted coldly and said with an expressionless face, Yin lass, don't worry. I'll kill this old man right now. Don't let him cause trouble here. Seeing that Elder Ning's aura was getting stronger and stronger, the fourth elder became even more anxious. Yun Luofeng, your parents are the heroes of Long Yuan country, yet you are so useless. If your parents in heaven were to see this, they would definitely regret giving birth to a coward like you. The fourth elder clearly knew what kind of person Yun Luofeng was. However, he had no choice but to say such angry words. Only by doing so would he be able to infuriate the girl and force her to accept the competition. Indeed, after fourth elder mentioned Yun Yang and his wife, the girl's sinister and cold gaze gradually fell upon him. I don't accept not because I'm afraid of you. It's because, based on your abilities, you don't have the right to challenge me. But since you insist on doing this, why not fulfill your wish? Chapter 491. The fourth elder was overjoyed, and a hint of joy appeared in his eyes. This girl was only an earth spirit. He only needed to slap her to death. After defeating her, he would still be the fourth elder of the Ning family, and Ning Yuan could marry Ning Xian. However, the fourth elder narrowed his eyes and turned to Tianya, who was watching the show from the side. Godly Dr. Tianya, I believe that with your high prestige, you will not do anything to cover up. In the arena, a fair duel. The loser will have to fulfill his promise. I only hope that at that time, Godly Doctor, you will not do anything that does not match your status. After all, this kind of thing had been listed here. More than 10 years ago, Yun Xingya had defeated the young master of the medical city in the arena. In the end, it had attracted the crazy revenge of the medical city. As for him, in order to be safe, he had warned Tianya in advance, in case this old man was unreasonably protective. Don't worry, I'm not like those bastards from the medical city. Other than the two sides of the competition, no one else is allowed to interfere in the challenge. Tianya looked at the fourth elder with a mocking smile. However, I also hope that you won't go back on your word. Tianya had great confidence in Yun Luofeng. Since this girl had accepted the challenge, it meant that she had the confidence to win. All right, the fourth elder's gaze turned to Yun Luofeng, and he smiled coldly. Yun Luofeng, let's begin. As soon as he finished speaking, a large blade appeared in front of the fourth elder. A sharp hurricane blew around his body, and his snow-white hair danced in the wind. He looked like a real madman. Under normal circumstances, he would never draw his blade in battle. However, this time, he could only win. He could not lose. As such, he took out his weapon and slashed down at Yun Luofeng's head with a loud bang. The entire courtyard was turned into ruins by his slash. Smoke and dust rose in all directions, covering the entire courtyard. Yuaner, it's all over. The fourth elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and turned to look at Ning Yuan with a weak smile on his face. Very soon, Ning Xian will become your wife. He believed that under his full strength attack, Yun Luofeng had no chance of survival. Just when he thought that Yun Luofeng was dead for sure, a hand suddenly landed on his shoulder. Who is it? The fourth elder frowned slightly and suddenly turned around. At that moment, his eyes met with a pair of smiling eyes, and his expression froze instantly. How is this possible? He had used all his strength in that attack. Furthermore, he had clearly slashed his blade towards Yun Luofeng. Why was she unharmed? The fourth elder's tightly clenched fists trembled slightly. He took a deep breath, and his expression was extremely ugly. Yun Luofeng, I really underestimated you, although I don't know how you dodged my attack. However, your luck won't be so good after this. Boom! The fourth elder's fist was mighty and fierce as it met Yun Luofeng's beautiful face with a loud bang. At such a short distance, his opponent was unable to dodge at all and could only face his fist head-on. Yun Luofeng indeed didn't dodge. She raised her hand and unhurriedly clenched it towards fourth elder's fist. Ha ha! The fourth elder laughed maliciously and spoke cruelly. Yun Luofeng, based on your earth spirit strength, you can't block my attack, and you can't possibly have such good luck every time. Chapter 492. What was the meaning of extreme joy turning to sorrow? The fourth elder quickly sensed this feeling. Just as his fist was about to reach his eyes, Yun Luofeng's hand easily and tightly gripped his fist. Then boom, a wave of energy suddenly leapt into his mind and fiercely struck his soul. This attack caused his mind to go blank. When he came back to his senses, he suddenly felt a huge pain in his chest. Following that, his old body flew out fiercely and fell on the icy cold ground. Cough, cough. Elder Fourth coughed out 2 mouthfuls of blood. His gaze towards Yun Luofeng was no longer filled with contempt. Instead, it was filled with seriousness. Little girl, I've truly underestimated you. Not only did you manage to escape my attack, but you also possess a secret skill. If I'm not wrong, you should have learned a soul attack type of cultivation technique. Unfortunately, no matter how many trump cards you have, there's still an even greater difference between a heavenly spirit cultivator and an earthly spirit cultivator. Elder Fourth crawled up from the ground and laughed icily. His feet gradually left the ground and slowly rose into the sky. This difference is that after becoming a heavenly spirit cultivator, one can fly in the sky. Therefore, the difference between you and me is too great. As long as I rise into the sky, I can attack you. However, you can't attack me. A complacent smile hung on his face as his eerie gaze stared down at the people on the ground. Because his gaze was focused on Yin Luofeng, he did not notice the strange looks in the eyes of the people around him. Heavenly spirit cultivator? Yin Luofeng curled the corners of her lips. Her smile was demonic and stern. The insolence in her eyes was fully displayed at this moment. Do you think that you're the only one? What? Elder Fourth was stunned. He clearly did not understand what Yin Luofeng meant by this. However, before he could understand, he was shocked silly by the sudden turn of events. The young girl, who had been standing in the courtyard, suddenly rose into the sky and appeared in front of him in the blink of an eye. Before Elder Fourth could return to his senses, Yin Luofeng's leg swept out with a sharp gust of wind. With a loud bang, the old man's body fell from the sky. At this moment, Elder Fourth's mind was in a daze. Even when his body fell to the ground, he still had not recovered from his shock. She was a celestial spirit practitioner? When did this happen? He could still remember that a few months ago, this young girl was only a beginner of spirit. In just a few short months, she had become a heavenly spirit warrior. Bang! The fourth elder's body heavily smashed into the ground, creating a deep pit. He lay in the pit with a dull look in his eyes as he stared blankly at the azure sky. At this moment, he thought back to the words he had said before the battle and realized how ridiculous they were. So it turned out that she didn't accept the challenge out of disdain and not out of fear. Father! Ning Yuan turned pale with fright. His face was filled with anxiety, and his forehead was covered with cold sweat. Ning Yuan's voice brought the fourth elder back to his senses, and he clenched his teeth tightly. No, Ning Xian hadn't married Yuan yet. He couldn't just give up like this. If he couldn't escape today, he would drag Ning Xian down to hell with him. Only then could Ning Xian become Yuan, Er's wife. Thinking of this, the fourth elder dragged his heavily injured body out of the deep pit and quickly rushed towards Ning Xian. Chapter 493. Ning Xian, if Yuaner and I die, I also want you to go to hell to be Yuaner's wife. Just as he finished speaking, the figure that was like a whirlwind had already arrived in front of Ning Xian. His eyes revealed a cruel light. He understood that it was impossible for him to defeat Yin Luofeng. If that was the case, then he could only let Ning Xian be buried with him. It was better than Yuaner being alone. Be careful. Yin Qingya held Ning Xian's hand tightly and pulled her into her embrace. She used her back to face the fourth elder and raised her robe, enveloping the young girl's body. At the same time, another figure shot over like a sword. When Yin Qingya finished her action, she was already in front of Ning Xian. Puchi. The fourth elder's fist contained a strong, killing intent as it heavily struck the youth's chest. The youth's extremely weak body was directly thrown out by his attack as blood flowed uncontrollably from his mouth. Immediately, the fourth elder was stunned. He raised his head in astonishment and looked at the youth who was blocking in front of Ning Xian. His voice trembled slightly as he asked why. Father. Ning Yuan smiled faintly. That smile was very weak and filled with endless sorrow. Don't hurt Ning Xian, Yuaner. I'm doing this for you. Can't you see it? These people will not let us go. But you haven't taken a wife for so many years because of Ning Xian. I just want her to become your wife. Why did you save her? The fourth elder's eyes were about to split open as his old body trembled violently in the wind. His eyes were also spewing out raging flames as he could not help but roar at his son. He had done all this for him. Why did he have to be so rebellious? Father, even if that's the case, I don't want her to suffer any harm. Ning Yuan smiled slightly. Sorry, I've disappointed you. After saying that, his body seemed to be unable to bear a heavy burden as he leaned backwards. His eyelashes trembled slightly as he slowly closed his eyes. Yuaner. The fourth elder roared in grief. His body quickly flashed and appeared in front of Ning Yuan. He quickly caught the youth's body and said sorrowfully, Yuaner, Wake up. Don't scare Daddy. Daddy was wrong. Hurry up and open your eyes and look at me. Alas, the young man closed his eyes and did not make a sound. His punch, just now, had already broken the young man's heart meridian. Even if the great firmament immortal came, he would not be able to save him. No. The fourth elder faced the sky, and his heart-wrenching voice reverberated above the Ning family for a long time. Yuan, even if you hate me, I will let Ningxin accompany you. The fourth elder's heart was filled with anger and hatred. He gently put down Ning Yuan's corpse and looked at the girl in Yun Xingya's arms with a sinister gaze. Ning Xian, my son is so devoted to you. Why don't you accept him? He gritted his teeth, full of hatred. I believe that in this world, there is no man who treats you better than my son. But you bitch, you actually didn't want such a good man and insisted on choosing Yun Xingya. What right do you have to reject my son's love? Elder Ning's face darkened as he stared coldly at the fourth elder. Ning Yuan is indeed a good child. Unfortunately, he has a father like you. Otherwise, he wouldn't have fallen to such a state. Shut up. The fourth elder had gone completely crazy. He turned to look at Elder Ning and said angrily, if it wasn't for your Ning family, Yuan wouldn't have died. You are the murderers who killed him. I will kill you all to avenge Yuan. Chapter 494. Elder Ning glanced at him. Firstly, you're the one who killed your son. Secondly, I'd like to see how you're going to destroy my Ning family. Nonsense. Fourth elder's face turned hideous as he roared. The one who killed him is someone from your Ning family. If it wasn't for saving Ning Xian, he wouldn't have died. So, I'll drag all of you down with me. Ha ha ha. As he spoke, fourth elder's aura suddenly became fierce. His body gradually expanded, causing the pressure in the air to drop, making it hard for everyone to breathe. He's going to self-destruct. Elder Ning's face changed. Furthermore, it's not an ordinary self-destruction. It's the self-destruction of his soul. Everyone knew that the self-destruction of a martial artist would cause severe injuries to the people around him, especially when fourth elder's soul was self-destructing. How strong was the power of the soul? If he really did detonate himself, then amongst the people present, only Tian would be able to escape this calamity. Even Elder Ning would be severely injured by this. Therefore, after sensing fourth elder's aura, Elder Ning's face turned grave. Self-destruction of the soul will result in the destruction of the soul. Is it worth it? Under normal circumstances, very few people would self-destruct their soul. This was because if the soul was gone, how could one talk about reincarnation? If there wasn't a deep hatred, no one would risk having their soul destroyed just to kill their enemy. However, the fourth elder understood that if it was just an ordinary self-detonation, with Tianya and Elder Ning's strength, they would be able to block the damage for everyone present. For this reason, he was willing to sacrifice his soul to send Ning Xian to accompany Ning Yuan. Ning Xian, I really don't know where you get your charm from to make Yuan give up his life for you. But this is the end for you. I won't let Yuan walk alone. Then, he lowered his head to look at Ning Yuan's corpse. The evil smile on his face gradually disappeared and was replaced with gentleness. Yuan, Father can't accompany you anymore, but Father will send Ning Xian to accompany you. You must grasp this opportunity well. Even if my soul is destroyed, Father will fulfill your wish. Undeniably, fourth elder's personality was the complete opposite of clan leader Ning's. Patriarch Ning was willing to give up his daughter for the sake of the family, but the fourth elder had committed countless mistakes. But his feelings for Ning Yuan were real. Ha! All of you, go and atone for your sins. The fourth elder's aura became more and more intense, and even the air around him became a formless storm. Under the storm, his white hair danced wildly in the wind. His face became ferocious once again, and the viciousness in his eyes was like a dagger dipped in poison. Anyone who was looked at by him would be poisoned to death. Poochie! Suddenly, a muffled sound came from the fourth elder's body. Then, his bulging body flattened like a puncture balloon. He turned around in a daze and looked at Yin Luofeng, who had unknowingly appeared behind him. He trembled as he asked, What did you do to me? Facing the fourth elder's stunned expression, Yin Luofeng smiled lazily. Don't forget, I am a doctor. As a doctor, he naturally knew all the acupoints and characteristics of the human body. Thus, at that moment, he used a silver needle to pierce the fourth elder's acupoint and stopped him from self-destructing. Tianya looked at Yun Luofeng in astonishment, and the shock in his eyes deepened. As a doctor as well, no one was clearer than him what Yun Luofeng's actions represented. After all, even he had been unable to successfully stop his self-destruction. Chapter 495. The fourth elder closed his eyes in despair. He knew that he had no hope of revenge this time. Since that was the case, he would wait for his next life. In his next life, he would make sure that all of these people were buried with him. Yin Luofeng, Ning family. He opened his eyes and sneered. When I get to the next life, I will come find you and make you pay with your blood. Blood for blood? Yun Luofeng curled his lips. Sorry, you won't have the chance. The girl's voice was arrogant, causing the fourth elder to fly into a rage once again. But this time, before he could speak, a violent force came out from his body and fiercely struck his internal organs. Even his soul felt the pain as if it had suffered a heavy blow. What did you do to me? There was no need to think about it. The fourth elder knew that this woman must have done something to him. Yun Luofeng glanced at him evilly. I just sent the power of your self-destruction back into your body. I didn't make it disappear. In other words, she had sent the power of the fourth elder's self-destruction back into his body. In other words, he couldn't make his soul self-destruct, but he would still have his soul scattered. You're such a vicious woman. You will definitely die a horrible death. The fourth elder had gone completely mad. He had failed to self-destruct, yet he still had to bear the consequences of his soul scattering. If it was anyone else, they wouldn't be able to bear it. I originally wanted to hand you over to second uncle, but unfortunately, you charged straight into my hands. Yin Luofeng smiled evilly as he leaned against the tree beside him. So, you brought this upon yourself. An intense pain came from within his body. The fourth elder's face contorted as he let out a mournful roar. Yin Luofeng, a vicious woman like you will definitely not have a good ending. Puchi, a mouthful of blood spurted out. The fourth elder staggered and fell heavily to the ground. He sucked in a breath of cold air and stared hatefully at Yin Luofeng with a twisted face. Second uncle. Yin Luofeng did not look at the fourth elder anymore. She turned around and walked towards Yun Xingya, raising her eyebrows. Ning Xine's body is still a little weak. Take her back to your room to rest first. Let the Ning family handle the matters here. All right. Yun Xingya's lips curled into a faint smile as her cold gaze gradually fell on Ning Xine. Xiner, I'll take you back to your room. Ning Xine bit her lips and nodded slightly. She looked at Yun Luofeng as if she wanted to say something, but in the end, she turned her head and followed Yun Xingya into the backyard. In the end, she didn't say the word thank you. However, she would remember everything that Yun Luofeng had done for her. She would never forget it. Sigh. Elder Ning let out a heavy sigh. The fourth elder left him here to destroy himself. His soul will soon dissipate. As for Ning Yuan, it's a pity. If he wasn't the son of the fourth elder, he would definitely be a good seedling. Ning Yuan's nature was not bad. It was just that he was pampered by the fourth elder. That was why he became so lawless. However, if he were to be nurtured from a young age, he believed that he would change very well. Unfortunately, Ning Yuan was the fourth elder's child, so he had buried his life. At the thought of this, Elder Ning shook his head regretfully. Bury Ning Yuan later. Because his father betrayed the Ning family, he does not have the qualifications to enter the Ning family's ancestral grave. As for the fourth elder, just find a mass grave and throw him away. Chapter 496. Yes, Patriarch. The servant cupped his fists and replied respectfully. It was night. The moon was as deep as water. Yun Xingya stood in the courtyard with her hands behind her back. Her cold gaze was cast towards the night sky as a faint smile appeared on her lips. Suddenly, a green cloak draped over his shoulders. He was slightly startled as he turned his head to look at the beautiful girl who had appeared behind him for some reason. Your body hasn't fully recovered yet, so it's better if you don't blow too much. Ning Xian smiled faintly. Brother Yun, what were you thinking about just now? Hearing this, Yun Xingyao once again turned her gaze towards the night and sighed softly. I was thinking that if my brother and sister-in-law were still alive, they would definitely be proud of little Fenger's current achievements. Ning Xian turned her head to look at the man's side profile. She discovered that the man under the moonlight was extremely good-looking, his entire body emitting a dazzling light. Big brother Ning, would you like to hear my story? Hearing this, Yun Xingya retracted her gaze and said with a light smile, If you are willing to tell me your story, then I will listen. Big brother Yun. Ning Xian looked at the night sky and said with a bitter smile, Actually, I am very envious of you. Your father is a true hero. Back then, he would rather let his son and daughter-in-law lead the troops into battle than give his daughter-in-law to the enemy's emperor as a concubine. This was a true man. If it was my father, perhaps his choice would be to give me away. When she said this, Ning Xian's tone was filled with sorrow, because he once faced a choice, and his choice was the Ning family. It was unknown if it was because the sky was cold or her heart was cold, but Ning Xian tightly pulled at her clothes, and her lowered eyes were filled with sorrow. 10 years ago, the daughter of the Ning family's elder returned after several years of experience. At that time, the Ning family's madam was already my mother, and the elder's daughter had admired my father since she was young. When she found out about this, she flew into a rage. She wanted my father to cripple my mother and marry her. For the sake of the Ning family's peace, my father did not accept the elder's daughter's suggestion, nor did he reject her. For this reason, the elder's daughter believed that my mother was pestering my father. In order to be my father's wife, she beat my mother to death. Ning Xian took a deep breath, clenching her fists tightly to suppress the anger in her heart. However, even so, her heart still trembled uncontrollably. That's right, that woman didn't poison or assassinate my mother. She just beat my mother to death in public, because she knew that her father had a very high prestige in the clan. Even if she killed my mother, my father wouldn't do anything to her. Yun Xingya turned to look at Ning Xian. He had thought that he had lived a miserable life, but Ning Xian's experience was not much better. Even though she was the eldest young lady of the Ning family, she had to watch helplessly as her own mother was beaten to death. What kind of pain was that? Yun Xingya subconsciously reached out and hugged Ning Xian's shoulder tightly. Big brother Yun, that woman made the right bet. My father was devastated by my mother's death, but he didn't even have the courage to take revenge for her, because that woman's father was the head of the Ning family's elders at that time. For the sake of the entire Ning family, he endured. After my grandfather found out about this, he rushed back to the Yun family to avenge my mother. He even took me away from the Ning family. Chapter 497. At the mention of Elder Ning, Ning Xian's expression softened. She said softly, Big brother Yun, even though my father is still alive, my grandfather is the only family member I have. He was afraid that if my father had other children, I would be wronged, so he let my father disperse the backyard. This is also the reason why my father has not taken a wife or concubine all these years. Actually, Ning Xian smiled faintly. The most manly thing my father did in his life was to marry my mother in the face of so much pressure. Of course, this was also because of grandfather's support. However, I hope that my mother will never get to know my father in this life. This way, his mother wouldn't be beaten to death in front of everyone. Big brother Yun, my father's feelings for my mother are very real, but his biggest flaw is that he pays too much attention to the family. Indecisiveness. Back then, when he found out that his mother had been beaten to death by that woman, he hated her so much that he wanted to kill her. However, he didn't dare to do so. Tell me, what's the use of a man who doesn't even have the courage to avenge his lover? Ning Xian raised her eyes and stared at Yun Xingya's handsome face with clear eyes. She pursed her lips slightly. Come back to the Yun family with me tomorrow. The man's melodious voice slowly rang in her ears, and she couldn't help but feel at ease. Big Brother Yun, actually I am very regretful in my heart. During the 10 years that you needed to accompany me the most, we did not get to know each other. Ning Xian gently held Yun Qingya's hand and said with a smile, "If only we had known each other at that time." 10 years. How painful was it to hide alone in a dark secret chamber for 10 whole years? As for her, she was not by his side at that time, nor did she accompany him through this most difficult period of time. Now that she thought about it, Ning Xian felt a wave of heartache, and the hatred she felt towards the medical city grew deeper and deeper. At that time, I was just a cripple. Yun Qingya shook her head and said with a bitter smile, "Big Brother Yun." Ning Xian's eyes were filled with sincerity. "Whether you are a cripple or a healthy person, I, Ning Xian, will never leave your side in this lifetime. I won't leave until the day you no longer need me." She loved Yun Qingya, nothing else. After all, before this, she didn't know Yun Luofeng's strength at all, nor did she know that he had a powerful backer. In a situation where she didn't know anything, she was heavily injured for Yun Qingya, which indirectly proved that her love for him was pure. Even if this man was a cripple, she would still move forward and never retreat. Yun Qingya's eyes moved as she stared deeply at the beautiful girl in front of her. He was a normal man, not a cold-hearted man. All these years, Ning Xian was the only woman he had interacted with other than his family. Now, this woman was infatuated with him. Even if his heart was made of stone, it would melt. "Ning Xian, it looks like I should call you Second Aunt from now on." As their gazes met, an evil voice rang out from behind them. There was an obvious hint of amusement in that voice. Yun Qingya hurriedly retracted her gaze and coughed twice. Her handsome face was tinged with embarrassment. "Xiao Fenger, why are you here?" Yun Luofeng slowly walked forward, his lips curling into a playful smile. His black eyes sized up the two people in front of him. "Come and meet my future second aunt." Chapter 498. Her words were filled with obvious flattery, causing Yun Qingya's handsome face to turn even redder. "Second uncle, when are you going to marry Ning Xian?" Yun Luofeng seemed to feel that the awkwardness between the two of them was not enough, and continued to speak in a mocking tone. "Little Feng," Ning Xian smiled faintly. "Right now, it's just my unrequited love. Once Big Brother Yun accepts my feelings, I will immediately marry her." She would not force Yun Qingya, nor would she use kindness to threaten him. She would only wait for the moment when he was willing to accept her feelings. Yun Qingya looked at Ning Xian with a complicated expression. "I am a man. As a man, I should protect my own woman. However, I'm still not strong enough. When I'm strong enough to protect her, I will marry her." Ning Xian's heart suddenly skipped a beat as she looked at Yun Qingya in surprise. Did Brother Yun mean that he had accepted her feelings? But it wasn't time to marry her yet. "Big Brother Yun, I'll wait for you." After stabilizing her mind, Ning Xian's heart calmed down, and the smile on her face became even more moving. "No matter how long it takes, I will wait for you, second uncle." Yun Luofeng seemed to have sensed something and frowned slightly. "What you mean by that is," Yun Qingya looked at Yun Luofeng, "I want to go to the forest of no return." The forest of no return, no return. Anyone who entered the forest of no return would die without a doubt. However, Yun Luofeng did not expect that Yun Qingya would actually want to go to that place. "Are you sure?" She raised her eyebrows and asked. "I'm sure." Yun Qingya's expression was unprecedentedly solemn. "Little Fenger, you only know that there are no returns to the forest of no return, but you don't know that there are also a few people who were able to leave the forest of no return safely. Those people have all undergone a huge change in their strength. If I want to grow up as soon as possible, I must go to the forest of no return." This was also the reason why he was unwilling to marry Ning Xian. It was precisely because he was afraid that if he couldn't return from the forest of no return, he would implicate Ning Xian for the rest of her life. "Second uncle, you have to think about it carefully. If you think about it carefully, I will support whatever you do. However, you have to understand that me, grandfather, and Ning Xian, We are all waiting for your return at the Yun family. You must come back to us alive." Yun Xingya lovingly rubbed Yun Luofeng's head, her eyes filled with endless gentleness. "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I'm only going to train in the outskirts of the forest of no return. I'm definitely not going in. For your sake, I will also ensure my own safety." "All right." Yin Luofeng's furrowed brows relaxed. "Before you go to the forest of no return, I'll prepare some spiritual medicines for you, just in case." Yun Xingya's lips moved slightly. He had thought that Yin Luofeng would definitely not agree to his decision, but he didn't expect that she would actually approve of it. He heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. If Yin Luofeng really did not agree, he would still think of a way to go to the forest of no return. Only with sufficient strength could he protect the Yun family, and he didn't want the same thing to happen again. "Big brother Yun." Ning Xian raised her head and stared at Yun Xingya intently. "I'm also waiting for you at the Yun family. You have to come back alive. If you are unable to return to the Yun family, then I will guard you for the rest of my life." Yun Xingya smiled bitterly and said, "Hexa, little Fenger, and my father, please take care of them. Don't worry, big brother Yun. I will take good care of the Yun family for you. Moreover, as long as I'm alive, no one is allowed to invade the Yun family." Chapter 499. The girl's eyes were firm, and her delicate face was solemn. "Unless she dies, she will not allow anyone to invade the Yun family." "Second uncle, do you want to go back and see grandfather before you leave?" Yin Luofeng said after thinking for a while. "No need." Yun Xingya shook her head. "If he finds out, then I won't be able to leave." No one knew the old master's character better than him. If he knew that he was going to a place like the Forest of No Return, he would definitely not let him go. Thinking of this, Yun Xingya paused for a moment. "Little Fenger, I will set off for the Forest of No Return tomorrow. You guys can go back to the Yun family and wait for me. He must personally avenge the Medicine City. Only then would he be able to relieve his years of pain." "All right." Yin Luofeng nodded lightly. She understood Yun Xingya's thoughts very well. If she had been hurt for so many years, she would not want others to stand up for her. Instead, she wanted to rely on her own hands to take revenge. "It's getting late. I'll go back and rest first. You two take your time to chat." Yin Luofeng's lips curved into a smile. He tactfully turned around and left, leaving the space to the two of them. He believed that tonight they would have many things to talk about. At this moment, Yun Zhao's cold and callous face appeared in her mind. She wondered how that fellow had been recently. Had he left the secret realm? However, she believed that it wouldn't be long before Yun Zhao returned to look for her. Long Yuan country. In the hall of the general's residence, old Master Yun looked at the betrothal gifts that filled the entire hall with a headache. He rubbed his temples and said in a low voice, "You still haven't found out the origin of these betrothal gifts?" Yi Ling shook her head. "I made the fallen Maple Pavilion's people go and investigate, but they still couldn't find out who sent these betrothal gifts. So, I don't know who proposed a master." Sigh. The old man sighed helplessly. Sure enough, before one wave has subsided, another wave rises. "I wonder when Fenger will return." Just as the old master finished speaking, a servant hurried in from outside the door and reported respectfully, "Master, eldest Miss and Miss Ning Xian have returned." "What?" Master Dongfang suddenly rose to his feet, his wrinkled face filled with joy. "Ning Xian is all right? That's great news. Let's go and welcome Fenger." After saying this, he strode out of the door. With just a glance, he saw the two girls crossing the threshold and entering. One of them was a young girl dressed in a white robe. She was devastatingly beautiful, and her beautiful face had an evil smile on it. Her pitch-black eyes stared unblinkingly at the old man in the courtyard. The other girl was beautiful and had a dignified demeanor. She stood quietly beside Yin Luofeng, her bright eyes filled with smiles. "You're back." The old man stopped in his tracks and quietly watched the two people walk into the general's mansion. After a while, he finally said this. "By the way, where's Xingya?" The old man was startled when he didn't see Yun Xingya. He frowned and asked, Second, Uncle has gone out to gain experience. He'll probably only be back after a while. Yun Luofeng's lips curled into a faint smile. She did not reveal Yun Qingya's true identity to prevent the old man from worrying. If he knew that his son had gone to such a dangerous place, he might not be able to sleep well in the future. Out to gain experience? Master Yin was stunned, but did not think too much about it. His tightly furrowed brows gradually relaxed. Feng, you're back at the right time. I have something to tell you. Chapter 500. As the old man said this, Yin Luofeng saw the wedding gifts that filled the hall. She unconsciously raised her eyebrows and asked, "Someone in the Yun family is getting married? Is it Qing Yin and Yiling?" This. The old man hesitated for a moment, then asked weakly, "These gifts are for you." Yin Luofeng frowned slightly. These gifts are for her. After a moment of silence, she raised her head and looked at the old man. "Do you know who sent them?" "I'm not sure." The old man shook his head. "Even the people from the Windfall Pavilion can't find out where these gifts came from." "Is that so?" Yun Luofeng curled the corners of her lips and slowly walked towards the gifts. In that instant, an imposing aura surged from her body, and her slightly raised eyes were filled with condescension. "If that's the case, then burn them." Boom! As soon as she finished speaking, a flame formed from spiritual power surged out from her palm. The flame quickly rushed towards the betrothal gifts. In an instant, the betrothal gifts were all turned into ashes. The young girl dusted her hands and turned to look at the dumbfounded old man. She smiled and said, "This way, the matter of the gifts has been resolved." The old man fiercely gulped. It seemed that his granddaughter was more domineering, unlike him who had hesitated for so many days over these gifts. "Ha ha ha." The old man laughed heartily. "Xiaofeng, Exeter, let's go. Tell me what happened in the Ning family, so I can be happy." The old man understood his granddaughter's temper very well. Since she had returned, it meant that the matter of the Ning family's fourth elder had been resolved. Since that was the case, he could rest assured and listen to Yun Luofeng's recount of what happened in the Ning family, so that he could brag about it in the future. However, the old man only thought that Yun Luofeng had violently abused the fourth elder. He never thought that the little girl following behind Yun Luofeng would have such a powerful identity. What was even more unexpected was that Yun Luofeng and Tianya were old friends. After hearing everything, the old man was dumbfounded on the spot. He stared with his mouth agape and couldn't recover for a long time. Inside the inn, the man had his back to the door as he quietly listened to his subordinate's report. After a long while, he finally reacted and a smile appeared on his handsome and demonic face. "You said that Yun Luofeng burned the gifts?" Reporting to the young master, "I saw it with my own eyes. I have come to report this to the young master." "It's fine," Baisu smiled and waved her hand. "You may leave." "Yes, young master." The guard cupped his fists and stood up from the ground. He turned around and walked out of the room, closing the door behind him. After he left, the entire room regained its tranquility. After a long while, the man's playful voice slowly echoed. "This Yun Luofeng is much more interesting than her mother." At this moment, the beautiful woman who was standing beside the man pursed her lips slightly and looked at the man's handsome face with a complicated gaze. "Master, I Baisu said. Bye-bye Luofeng, bye-bye, she and said. Luo, bye. Yin, that's right." Baisu raised her eyebrows and stroked her chin. "Because I realized that this woman is useful to the Bai family." The beautiful woman was a bit surprised. "Young master, Yin Luofeng is only the general's granddaughter. Why would she be useful to the Bai family?" "She's very talented." Baisu's eyes narrowed. "She's the same kind of person as me. If I'm not wrong, the reason why the Shao family had attacked the Bai family was because this woman had plotted against us. That's why I'm interested in her." Chapter 501. It had been a long time since he had met a woman who could pique his interest, and this woman, her achievements in the future would be extraordinary. A person like Yun Luofeng is very dangerous. If we try to rope her in, we will not be able to control her. Only a handsome man will work on her. Baisu's eyes carried a hint of a smile. After all, from the information I've gathered about her, this woman is infatuated with Yun Zhao's beauty and often teases him. For this, I can only sacrifice my own beauty. Young master. The beautiful woman pursed her red lips, and her demonic eyes carried a hint of confusion. This subordinate thinks that young master is too attentive towards Yun Luofeng. She is only an ordinary person. Ordinary person? Bai Su glanced coldly at the beautiful woman. When I first met that woman, she was only a high spiritualist. She was not even an earth spiritualist. But how long has it been? She has already become a celestial spiritualist? With such talent, I'm afraid even I cannot compare to her. Yet, you say that she is an ordinary person? The beautiful woman's body trembled, and her beautiful eyes widened in shock. In such a short period of time, she has become a celestial spiritualist? How powerful must her talent be? No wonder the young master is so attentive towards her. He did not hesitate to sacrifice his own beauty to make her return to the Bai family. But, thinking of the secret love that she had buried in her heart, the beautiful woman's face carried a hint of bitterness. Her heart felt as if it had been pierced by a needle. Nightfall. The general's residence was exceptionally quiet under the moonlight. Yun Luofeng sat in the pavilion and gently stroked Milk Tea's hair. Her slightly narrowed eyes flashed with light. This time, Xiaobai did not follow her back. Because Tianya had said that he needed her help with something, she had brought him along. That was why she had lost a little follower behind her. Milk Tea, did you really see that person go to the inn? Milk Tea nodded her head. When Yun Luofeng had burned the betrothal gifts, she had felt an unconcealed breath. Because of this, she had secretly sent Milk Tea to follow that person. She wanted to use this to find out who had sent the betrothal gifts. Did you find out who that person was? Yun Luofeng frowned slightly and asked in a low voice. Just as Yun Luofeng asked this question, the surrounding air suddenly became thin. The light breeze intensified and the leaves rustled. Since you're here, come out. Her hand that was caressing the Milk Tea paused, and she still said without raising her head, I didn't expect you to be so vigilant. I really didn't misjudge you. A crescent-colored robe landed in front of the young girl. The corners of the man's lips curled up into a demonic smile. His smiling eyes stared at the young girl in front of him. The betrothal gifts from the Yun family were given by you? Yun Luofeng's voice was cold as he asked, Don't you think we're the same kind of people? Bai Su's smile deepened, and an evil light gathered in her eyes. If you're willing to marry me, I'll give you supreme glory. Yun Luofeng raised his head slightly. His black eyes were filled with a domineering light as they gradually landed on Bai Su. The glory I want, I will obtain it with my own 2 hands. Not given by anyone. Moreover, I don't think you have the ability to do so. I can't, but Yin Xiao can. Bai Su took a few steps closer to Yun Luofeng. His slightly narrowed eyes revealed a dangerous light. He waved his hand and grabbed her arm tightly. He then smiled coldly and said, Yun Luofeng, believe me, as long as I have enough time, Yin Xiao will not be able to defeat me. Chapter 502. Get lost. Yun Luofeng's expression sank. She flung her arm fiercely and flung his hand away. A loud cry escaped from the young girl's lips. Her eyes were filled with incomparable self-confidence and dominance, as well as disdain towards him. A dark light flashed in Bai Su's eyes, and the smile on his handsome face slowly disappeared. He stared fixedly at Yun Luofeng and suddenly laughed icily. Everyone says that the eldest lady of the general's household is incomparably lustful and often takes liberties with the guards by her side. I had thought that I could make you join the Bai family as long as I could use my charm to trick you into joining the Bai family. Unfortunately, I was wrong. You are indeed different from those love-struck fools. Yun Luofeng raised an eyebrow, and then, in this lifetime, the only man she would tease was Yun Xiao alone. The more you reject me, the more interested I become in you. Bai Su's lips curled into a demonic angle once again. His crescent-colored robes fluttered in the night breeze, and his jet-black hair danced in the wind, gently brushing past his handsome face. His voice carried an extremely seductive air, as if it was luring people towards him. However, faced with such a handsome man, Yun Luofeng remained unmoved. She lazily rose to her feet from the pavilion and shot by Sue a demonic look. Unfortunately, I have no interest in you. Once she had said her piece, she did not spare the man behind her another glance and walked towards the rear courtyard. When she was halfway there, she stopped in her tracks and said without turning her head, "The young master of the Bai family actually trespassed into someone else's residence at night. If word of this gets out, I'm afraid the Bai family's reputation won't be good." Bai Su narrowed his eyes, and the aura from his body became even more dangerous. His robes fluttered, and his handsome features became incomparably sinister under the moonlight. "Yin Luofeng, I will have you." His lips curled into an eerie smile and no longer had his demonic charm. He stared fixedly in the direction that the young girl had left as he spoke sinisterly. "If I can't have you, I can only destroy you." He would not let anyone else have what he could not have. Hence, he could only destroy her. "Young master." The beautiful woman had unknowingly appeared beside the man. She bit her lip and looked at Yun Luofeng's departing figure with a complicated expression. This woman, it doesn't seem like it's that easy for her to become a member of the Bai clan. Furthermore, when you weren't here, the Bai clan was hit hard. It was all because of this woman. Why did you? Bai Su did not say anything. Her gaze remained fixed in the direction where Yun Luofeng had disappeared. There was a look of contemplation in her eyes. "Young master." The beautiful girl subconsciously clenched her fists, jealousy surging in her heart. Why wouldn't Yin Luofeng accept such an outstanding man like the young master? If it were him, he would definitely agree immediately. "Let's go back." As Bai Su turned around, his sleeves fluttered in the breeze. The dark night made his eyes look even more profound. Bang! Yin Luofeng closed the door and was just about to turn around when a young boy wearing a snow-white robe appeared in front of her, causing her to freeze in place. The boy looked like he was carved from jade. His big, bright eyes shone brightly. His rosy lips were slightly pouting, and his voice was childish. "Master, it seems like you're not happy to see me." "Not happy?" She was obviously scared stiff. Yun Luofeng recovered her senses with great difficulty. "Xiao Mo, can you leave the divine grimoire space now?" Chapter 503. Master. Bang! Little Mo opened his arms and rushed towards Yun Luofeng. His soft body fiercely collided into the young girl's embrace, his two short arms tightly hugging the slender waist in front of him. "Ever since you broke through to the celestial spirit realm, I can appear in your world for a short period of time." He raised his cute little face, a brilliant smile on his tender face. "Then when can you stay for a long time?" Yun Luofeng raised his eyebrows and asked. "This?" Little Mo's finger gently tapped his lips, his blinking eyes filled with doubt. "Actually, I'm not too sure. When Master breaks through to that realm, I'll naturally be able to sense it." Yun Luofeng gently stroked his chin, his black eyes filled with contemplation. At this moment, there was a bang and Qing Yin staggered in. Her delicate little face was as red as an apple as she panted and said, "Miss, something has happened. What is it?" Yin Luofeng raised his eyebrows and looked at Qing Yin, asking calmly, "Miss, it's Zhonglinger." "Zhonglinger, she..." Qing Yin wiped the sweat on her forehead and said anxiously, "She was captured by the Tian family." Yin Luofeng's expression sank little by little. Zhonglinger, as the vice commander of the Flame Legion, had been out on a mission and had not returned for a long time. So she had been captured by the Tian family. I never thought that other than dealing with Tian Ku, there would be other people from the Tian family who would come knocking on our door. Yun Luofeng's narrowed eyes flashed with killing intent. However, I remember that Zhonglinger's mission this time has nothing to do with the Tian family. Why did she fall into their hands? "Miss, it's like this. According to the other members of the Flame Legion who escaped, Zhonglinger's mission this time was near the Tian family. Unfortunately, she just happened to bump into the Tian family's team." Qing Yin took a deep breath and reported everything she had heard to Yun Luofeng. Within the Tian family's team, there was a person who was Zhonglinger's elder brother. Zhonglinger's elder brother? Yun Luofeng was stunned. "Zhonglinger is from the Tian family?" "No, that's not right. According to the information I obtained, Zhonglinger is just a daughter of an ordinary family." When did she get involved with the Tian family? Miss, that man from the Tian family is Zhong Linger's half-brother. Speaking up to this point, Qing Yin was a little angry. She tightly clenched her small fists. That year, Zhong Linger's father was seriously injured when he was training outside. Fortunately, a young girl from a commoner's family saved him. Who would have thought that this animal would see that the young girl was quite beautiful? After he recovered from his injuries, he raped her. That girl wanted to commit suicide, but she was saved by her childhood sweetheart fiancé. Moreover, he didn't despise her and married her. Yin Luofeng laughed coldly. This is really the real-life story of the farmer and the snake. The farmer and the snake? Qing Yin looked at Yin Luofeng in surprise. Miss, how come this servant has never heard of this story? This story describes the situation of Zhong Linger's parents, because you don't know if the person you save will bite the hand that feeds you. Yin Luofeng raised his eyebrows. So, I never save anyone unrelated to me. Qing Yin, you must remember, we are not saints. There is no need to pity others. Otherwise, the next mother of Zhong Linger will be you. Chapter 504. Qing Yin nodded and said solemnly, Miss, this servant understands. All right, you can continue with what's coming next. Yin Luofeng raised his eyes slightly and stared at the little servant girl standing in front of him. Previously, she had only asked the people from Luofeng Pavilion to investigate the background of the army members, but to respect their privacy, she did not investigate further. This was also the result of not knowing that Zhong Linger was from the Tian family. Qing Yin calmed herself down and continued. Miss, after that young girl was raped, she became pregnant, and those people from the great forces will be able to sense their own bloodline. Therefore, when that person from the Tian family passed by, he felt that the bloodline in Zhong Linger's body came from him. In order to not let the bloodline of the Tian family spread outside, the Tian family took Zhong Linger back home. Yin Luofeng raised the corner of his lips, and there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. After that, did the Tian family realize that Zhong Linger had no talent and chased her out of the Tian family? But after this meeting, they found out that Zhong Linger had broken through to the high spiritual realm, so they forcefully brought her back to the family. The Tian family was no different from the Shao family. When the family's disciples were useful, they would bring them back home. If they found out that the disciple was useless, they would immediately expel her from the family, and she wouldn't even be worthy of inheriting the family name. Miss, you're right. This is indeed the situation. Qing Yin sighed softly, and her tone was worried. Qing Yin, Yin Luofeng stroked his chin and paused for a moment before saying, There's something I don't understand. When Tian Ku and Tian Yu came to Long Yuan country, why didn't they discover Zhong Linger's identity? The corner of Qing Yan's mouth twitched. Actually, the reason is very simple. Zhong Linger's father is only from the side branch of the Tian family, and there's still a gap between him and Tian Ku's and Tian Yu's direct bloodline. Maybe because of this, they didn't recognize Zhong Linger. Or maybe, at that time, their eyes were on Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao, so they didn't notice Zhong Linger. I see. Yin Luofeng's smile was filled with a trace of evil. This evil lingered around her, making the whole room gloomy and terrifying. Qing Yin, call Yi Ling. Both of you follow me to the Tian family. Yes, miss. Qing Yan's expression immediately turned solemn, and her clear black eyes shone with a bright light. What about me? Suddenly, a small hand tugged on Yun Luofeng's sleeve. Then, the boy's pitiful voice rang out. Only then did Qing Yin notice the little boy who had been standing beside Yin Luofeng. She asked in surprise, Miss, whose child is this? Little Mo's eyes flashed a few times. He held Yin Luofeng's hand tightly. I am her son. Son? Qing Yin was petrified on the spot. Her mouth opened so wide that it could swallow an elephant. She stared at Yin Luofeng in disbelief. Young Miss actually had a son? But before Qing Yin could walk out of her shock, she heard the little boy's childish voice again. Mommy, when is Yun Zhao's daddy coming back? Boom! A bolt of lightning struck down from the clear sky, and a light smoke in the midst of the petrification was directly split apart, and its body was on the verge of collapse. It was too shocking. Miss actually had a child with Yin Xiao. Does the patriarch know about this? Little Mo. Yin Luofeng frowned and gave little Mo a warning look. Then, he turned his gaze towards Qing Yin. He likes to talk nonsense. Yin Xiao and I have only known each other for less than a year. How could we have such a big child? Chapter 505. Little Mo blinked his eyes and said with grievance, Mother, do you recognize me? You and father have known each other for many years. This time, he entered the Yun family because of you. You cannot recognize us. Yin Luofeng's face instantly darkened. The aura on his body gradually surged. He looked at little Mo darkly. Looks like you don't want to stay here. The girl's undisguised aura shocked little Mo. But for the sake of Yun Xiao marrying Yin Luofeng as soon as possible, he was going all out. Mother, you've abandoned me for so many years. You can't abandon me again. Little Mo cried out and hugged Yin Luofeng's thigh tightly. He cried bitterly, I missed you so much these past few years. Yin Luofeng slightly narrowed his eyes. The dangerous aura became stronger and stronger. Little Mo was so scared that he shrunk his neck and looked at her pitifully. He was like an abandoned puppy, wagging his tail in front of his master and begging for mercy. Miss Qing Yin finally broke out of her petrified state. She felt the aura on Yin Luofeng's body and hurriedly pulled little Mo to her side. Although you're the person this servant admires the most, and this servant has always listened to your orders, he's still your son. It's not good to abandon him. Yin Luofeng softly sighed. Qing Yin, let's go to the Tian family first. I'll talk to you when I come back. Creak. Just as Yin Luofeng opened the door and was about to walk out, there was a bang. The old man who was hiding outside the door and eavesdropping stumbled into the room and fell on his face. Yin Luofeng's face darkened. What are you doing here? This. The old man touched his hair and chuckled. I heard a child crying, so I wanted to know what was going on. Xiaofeng, you're really something. You even hid the fact that you have a son from me. Are you purposely trying to prevent me from holding my great-grandson? Yin Luofeng felt a headache and rubbed his temples. I still have something urgent to do. When I come back, I'll use a blood test to prove that this guy isn't my son. If I say he's my great-grandson, then he's my great-grandson. The old man glared at Yin Luofeng. When he looked at little Mo, his expression turned into a smile. Good grandson, come and let me, your great-grandfather, hug you. Little Mo blinked and obediently called out, Great-grandfather, you can't let those bad people marry mother. She belongs to Yun Zhao's father. AI, how obedient. Don't worry, great-grandfather won't let those people have their way. The old man chuckled as he pulled Xiao and Mo into his arms and fiercely ravaged him. Fenger, look at this child. He's so similar to you. My intuition can't be wrong. He's your son. Why don't you do a blood test right now? Like? Yin Luofeng's eyebrows twitched. She scrutinized little Mo and couldn't find any resemblance between the two of them. This old man had gone crazy thinking about his grandson. Even a random kid on the street would look like her. Grandpa, I really have something urgent to attend to. We'll talk about the blood test when I get back. Yin Luofeng frowned slightly. Even at a time like this, she still wanted to reason with the old man. However, the old man only smiled mysteriously. Girl, you have a lot of wicked ideas. Who knows what will happen when you get back? So, when I came in, I had someone prepare 2 basins of water. You could do a blood test right now. Yin Luofeng's breathing became uneven. In the end, she chose to accept the old man's cunning suggestion. Chapter 506. All right, let them come in. Just as she finished speaking, a servant girl walked in with a basin of clear water. She placed it on the table and retreated respectfully. Give me the scimitar, Yin Luofeng said as she extended her hand to Qing Yin. Yes, Mississippi, Qing Yin responded respectfully. Then, she pulled out the scimitar from her waist and handed it to Yin Luofeng. Yin Luofeng held the scimitar in her hand and gently slid it across her finger. Instantly, a drop of blood fell into the clear water. After doing all this, Yin Luofeng handed the scimitar to little Mo. It's your turn. Good. Master Luofeng took the scimitar from little Mo and said gently, "You only need to cut it gently. It won't hurt." "All right," little Mo replied obediently. However, no one saw the smile that flashed across his eyes the moment he lowered them. However, little Mo still pretended to be timid. He took the scimitar with trembling hands and closed his eyes as he slid it across his finger. Seeing little Mo's pale little face, Master Luofeng's heart ached. He hurriedly took little Mo's hand and breathed into his mouth. Yin Luofeng did not speak. Her eyes were fixed on the clear water on the table. Then she saw that the drops of blood that had been separated on both sides seemed to be pushed forward by a force until the two sides met and fused together. Instantly, Yin Luofeng was stunned. The blood dripping was a success? How was that possible? How could she and little Mo have a successful blood dripping? Ha! Master Luofeng laughed heartily. His old face was full of excitement. "This child and I hit it off so well. I've long said that he's my great-grandson. Feng, so you and Yin Xiao have already progressed to this level. I've been worried about you too." Yin Luofeng's face darkened. Little Mo is 5 now. If he's my son, did I give birth to him when I was 10? Master Luofeng thought for a moment and said, "That's not impossible. Ordinary people cannot have children at 10, but you're a doctor. You can create too many miracles. If you say that you gave birth to a child when you were 10, I believe you." Yin Luofeng regretted letting little Mo leave the divine grimoire space and causing so much trouble. "Follow me." She pulled Xiao Mo away from the old man's arms and quickly walked out of the room. Once she was sure that Master Dongfang and Qingyan had not followed her, she threw his body fiercely onto the grass. She raised her brows and asked, "Xiao Mo, tell me, what's going on with the blood test?" Little Mo rubbed his butt and pouted, "Master, I'm the guardian of the divine book of medicine. I'm just a spirit, and as a spirit, I don't have blood. However, I formed a contract with you, so I only used a little of your blood just now. In other words, those 2 drops of blood are mine." Yin Luofeng narrowed his eyes dangerously. "Little Mo, I didn't think you had this kind of ability. Tell me, how are you going to explain this to me?" Little Mo felt wronged as he crawled up from the grass. "It's all because of that bastard Bai Su. He actually dared to have designs on you, Master. Hence, I had purposely pretended to be your son. My goal was to let the world know that you have given birth to Yun Zhao's child. In this way, Bai Su, that bastard, would no longer pester Master." Chapter 507. Yun Xiao was not around, so he had to protect his master for him. He had to prevent a group of people with ill intentions from taking advantage of him. Seeing that Yin Luofeng didn't say anything, little Mo started chattering again. "Master, Bai Su is nothing. He can't be compared to Yun Xiao. He's just using you. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have lied." "Is that so?" Yin Luofeng raised the corners of his lips, and his aura suddenly darkened. "Then should I thank you for helping me get rid of those people with ill intentions?" "Of course." Xiao Mo placed his hands on his hips, and his face filled with pride. "Master, don't worry. Bai Su won't bother you anymore. You're already pregnant with Yun Zhao's child. If he knows what's good for him, he'll give up on you." Even though Yin Luofeng's aura was piercingly cold, his beautiful face lit up with a smile. "Since you've helped me get rid of this trouble, I should reward you. As such, I'll reward you with a month in the grimoire space." Xiao Mo's body trembled and his eyes filled with fear. "Master, no." "Remember," Yin Luofeng glanced at him darkly, "you're not allowed to take one step out of the grimoire space for 1 month." Xiao Mo was so aggrieved that he nearly cried. He had been stuck in the grimoire space for so many years and was finally able to leave for a moment. In the end, he was locked up by his master for another month. It had been fine being unable to leave the grimoire space in the past, but now that he could leave, he had to continue to be locked up. How could he tolerate this? "Master, I was wrong." Xiao Mo tugged at Yin Luofeng's sleeve and cried bitterly, "I won't do it again. Please forgive me for the last time." "You know you were wrong?" Yin Luofeng gently lifted Xiao Mo's chin with his finger and narrowed his eyes. "Do you dare to do this again?" "No." Xiao Mo shook his head and hurriedly made a solemn vow. Get up. Yin Luofeng waved her hand and lifted Xiao Mo up. She stared deeply at the little boy in front of her and said, I know you're doing this for me and Yun Xiao. You're afraid that Bai Su will not let me go. However, you have underestimated him. That man has no feelings for me and only wants to use me. Even if he believes that I have a son, he will still pester me. Little Imo blinked and said apologetically, Master, did I cause trouble for you? At least you still know this. Yin Luofeng swept a glance at him. If I were anywhere else, in front of other people, you could pretend to be my son. But in the Yin family, you definitely can't. They're my family. I don't want any lies to haunt them. Master, I'll explain everything to your grandfather now, okay? Little Mo knew that she had gone too far this time, so her tone was filled with caution. Yin Luofeng shook his head. That old man is too old. He can't take this kind of torment. You made him fall from heaven to hell. How could he endure it? What's more, the blood test was successful. Even if you explain, he won't believe you. Master, I'm sorry. Forget it. Yin Luofeng looked at Xiao Mo again. Since he has misunderstood, let him continue to misunderstand. From now on, you are not allowed to act like this in the Yun family. In other words, it didn't matter what he did outside of the Yun family's territory. Only the Yun family. This was the pure land she wanted to protect. Xiao Mo's eyes brightened, and she smiled brightly. Master, I understand. It's almost time for me to leave the divine grimoire space. I'll go back first and come see you tomorrow. Chapter 508. As he spoke, Xiao Mo's body gradually became transparent until it was blown away by the wind. My lady, Qing Yin had just arrived when she saw that Yin Luofeng was the only one in the courtyard. Xiao Mo, who had been dragged away by her, was nowhere to be seen. Miss, where's the young master? Qing Yin blinked her eyes in surprise. Could it be that he was silenced by you? Yin Luofeng glanced at Qing Yin. This glance sent chills down Qing Yan's spine. She hurriedly explained, My lady, I was just joking. It's really a joke. But it's strange. Why has the young master disappeared? He's gone to attend to some matters. Call Yi Ling, and we'll leave immediately. Yes, my lady. Qing Yin did not dare to ask any further and replied respectfully. Her priority now was to save Zhong Ling. At this moment, in a not far from Long Yuan country, the little old man was leisurely sipping on his tea. His wrinkled face was like a chrysanthemum flower, lit up with a smile. Ever since I tasted Yin Luofeng's spiritual tea, I've become much pickier. Aside from this spiritual tea, the other teas are not to my liking. Lin Ruobai rested her chin on her hand and asked in a bored manner, Old man, why did you want me to follow you here? If you have something to do, hurry up and finish it. I still need to go back and serve my master. Don't be in such a hurry. There's something that only someone with your physique can help me get. The little old man spoke in a leisurely manner. When I get the medicinal herbs, I'll give half to your master. Take it as a reward for using you for a period of time. Lin Ruobai pursed her lips. What about me? Am I just a free worker? Xiao Bai, I won't use you for nothing. This time, you'll get the most precious thing. That thing is much more precious than medicinal herbs. The little old man turned to look at Lin Ruobai and spoke seriously. Lin Ruobai's eyes lit up. What's that? Well, the little old man gently stroked his long beard and chuckled. That's a precious experience. You grew up on Mount Spirit God and have never come into contact with the rest of the world. I brought you out this time so you can gain the experience of exploring. Isn't the thing you have the most? Before he could finish the word precious, Lin Ruobai picked up a cup of tea and threw it at the old man. Bang! With a muffled sound, the little old man's head instantly swelled up and the tea spilled all over him. He shook his head helplessly. Youngsters nowadays are really hot-tempered. I was just joking. Why take it so seriously? Oomph. Lin Ruobai snorted coldly, turned his head, and did not look at him again. All right, Xiaobai girl, I won't argue with you this time. We should welcome our guests. Guest? Lin Ruobai was stunned for a moment. When he turned his head to look, the door was pushed open, and a group of people dressed in green robes appeared in the room. The leader of those people was a middle-aged man. He cupped his fists and said respectfully, "Uncle Tianya, I've finally found you." The little old man smiled faintly. "Previously, I met two people who randomly called themselves uncles, and now there's another one. Why? Is it popular to recognize relatives these days?" The middle-aged man laughed awkwardly. "Uncle Tianya, I'm a Tian Xian from the Tian family. According to seniority, I should address you as uncle. I've come here this time to bring Uncle Tianya home. This old man has always been alone. I don't have such a thing as a home. Please go back. Don't force me to take action." Chapter 509. Tianya frowned slightly. These people were really like leeches sticking to him. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get rid of them. "Uncle Tianya, how can you say such words? The Tian family is your family." This junior was ordered by the elders to find Uncle Tianya's whereabouts. However, Uncle Tianya has been hiding for so many years. "It's really hard for me to find you." Tian Xin smiled and took 2 steps forward. No matter what grudges Uncle Tianya had with the Tian family, now that so many years have passed, it's time to resolve it. "Resolve?" Tianya sneered. "That year, if not for the Tian family scheming against me, my beloved woman wouldn't have left. Tell me, how do you think this grudge should be resolved?" "Uncle Tianya, the Tian family is doing this for your own good. Since young, your talent is outstanding. How can an ordinary woman be compared to you? The Tian family only found the most suitable woman for Uncle Tianya. Who knew Uncle Tianya would be so hot-blooded and go against the order? In other words, the Tian family didn't do anything wrong. The one at fault was Tianya. Who asked Tianya to not marry the woman chosen by the Tian family and be with a slut? That's right, in the eyes of everyone in the Tian family, the woman Tianya fell in love with was a slut. Otherwise, why would she want to dominate Tianya and not allow Tianya to choose an easier path? Hee. Tianya curled his lips and looked at the middle-aged man with murderous intent. "Why should I listen to your Tian family's orders? What right does the Tian family have to order me? Just because I was a member of the Tian family? If that's the case, I'll just leave the Tian family. But why do you keep pestering me after I left?" His eyes turned sharp. He no longer had that shameless face he had in front of Yin Luofeng. "Uncle Tianya, back then, you injured many people in the family in a fit of rage. Is that not enough to appease you? Plus, it was because the woman you loved didn't trust you enough that it led to the final result." Tianya narrowed his eyes. "In other words, it's all Fu Sheng's fault." "That's right, it's all that woman's fault. From Tian Xin's point of view, it was all that woman's fault for seducing Tianya. Otherwise, Tianya wouldn't have abandoned the Tian family." Tianya was so angry that he laughed. "If your wife was lying on the same bed with another man, would you misunderstand? If you misunderstand your wife, is it because you don't trust her enough? Of course, if the Tian family didn't knock him out, this wouldn't have happened. It was then that he began to study medicine diligently, also that he would not be schemed against by others again." "Uncle Tianya." Tian Xin's expression changed. "Women are different from men. If a woman shares a bed with another man, no matter what happens between them, this woman must die. Men, on the other hand, can have multiple wives and concubines. That woman leaving you isn't the Tian family's fault. It's just that she's too jealous. Such a jealous woman. How could she be qualified to enter our Tian family? Impudent." Bang! Tianya waved his hand, and instantly, a powerful force slammed into the middle-aged man's chest. His body was sent flying out of the room, and blood unceasingly flowed out of his mouth. Just as he was about to crawl up from the ground, the old man who had been sitting in the room had unknowingly appeared in front of him. With a lift of his palm, he was lifted up from the ground. At that moment, the little old man's expression was terrifying, and his gaze was frighteningly sinister as he stared at Tian Xian. "Who allowed you to speak to this old man like this?" The middle-aged man wiped away the bloodstain at the corner of his mouth. "Uncle Tianya, my father, is your biological younger brother. Are you going to act against your own nephew?" Chapter 510. This was the reason why Tian Xian dared to say such a thing. In the Tian family, his father was Tian Xuan's only relative, so it was impossible for him to kill him. "You're that bastard's son?" The little old man grabbed Tian Xuan's clothes tightly. I was just wondering why your name sounded so familiar. So you're his son. I've been so good to him since he was young, but he colluded with those people to plot against me. Bang! Tianxian once again flung Tianxian away, his eyes cold. Go back and tell that bastard that after I find Fu Sheng, I will go back and settle the score with him. Don't think that I've been tolerating you all these years. I just don't have the time to settle the score with you. And you all think that I've already forgiven the Tian family for what they've done, and use my name to stir up trouble everywhere. Tianxian was stunned for a moment, his face filled with anxiety. Uncle Tianxian, you can't lose your head because of a woman. Have you forgotten? That year, because of jealousy, that woman not only left you, but also secretly sent an assassin to finish you off. Hearing this, the little old man glanced at him with a smile that did not seem like a smile. His tone was indifferent, as if he had seen through everything. Are you sure that the person sent to kill me was Fu Sheng? Tianxuan's heart suddenly trembled, and a trace of panic flashed across his eyes. Could it be that Uncle Tianxian knew that the person sent to kill him was from the Tian family? No, impossible. If he really knew about this, he would not have allowed the Tian family to run amok until today. He must be just trying to scare them. Uncle Tianxian, I'm sure that it was that woman Fu Sheng who wanted to kill you. My father had long seen that woman's evil intentions, so he helped others to do such a thing. We're all doing this for your own good. You can scram now. Tianxuan's expression gradually became impatient. Or do you want this old man to throw you out? But this old man has never held back. If you accidentally fall to your death, that bastard father of yours will definitely come after me. Tianxian gritted his teeth, steeled his heart, and waved his hand. Let's go. The moment before he left, Tianxian turned his head back to look at the little old man. There was a gloomy look in his eyes, but in the end, he turned around and left without looking back. As he watched those people leave, Lin Ruobai took out a piece of pastry and put it in his mouth. He asked incoherently, Old man, why did you let them go? If he wasn't wrong, the old man did indeed exude killing intent in that instant. She didn't understand why he didn't kill them. He, the little old man, sneered twice. The members of the Tian family won't live for long. Today, I still have other matters to attend to, so I'll forgive him for now. Once I'm done with my business, I'll properly settle the debt from that year with them. Seeing this, Lin Ruobai didn't say anything more and enjoyed the delicious desserts on the table. Have you guys heard? I heard that Long Yuan country's general's granddaughter, Yin Luofeng, has sent a letter of challenge to the Tian family, claiming that she will pay a visit to the Tian family soon. Just as the little old man turned around and was about to enter his room, a commotion came from downstairs, causing him to stop in his tracks. I've heard about this. It seems that the Tian family had captured her subordinates. Because of this, she sent a letter of challenge to the Tian family in a fit of anger. Speaking of which, what's the background of the Tian family? Why haven't I heard of them before? Letter of challenge? Tian family? The little old man's anger was ignited once again. He rushed into the room, picked up Lin Ruobai, and quickly ran out of the inn. Chapter 511. Old man, where are we going? Lin Ruobai was held in the little old man's hands, and the wind blew past her ears. Her beautiful hair was in a mess, brushing past her delicate little face. To the Tian family, the little old man gritted his teeth and said. Lin Ruobai was just enjoying the food and didn't hear the discussion downstairs. Now that the little old man said those 3 words, she blinked her eyes blankly. Didn't you say you have something to do? Why are we going to the Tian family now? Isn't it because those bastards from the Tian family provoked our master? I'm going to support Yin Luofeng. Originally, he didn't plan to make a move on the Tian family so soon. However, those people were really daring to provoke Yin Luofeng. He had no choice but to go. But Lin Ruobai stretched out her hand in the direction of the inn. She was so wrong that her tears almost fell. My pastries. You should at least let me take them away. Tian, you didn't care about Lin Ruobai's thoughts. He pulled her and ran forward. Because his speed was too fast, Lin Ruobai directly fainted in the air. Tian Mountain was where the Tian family was located. However, Tian Mountain was divided into many layers. Like a city, it was filled with people. The lowest layer was made up of ordinary people. The higher the layer, the stronger the power. As for the Tian family, they lived at the highest level. Miss, why do we have to send a letter of challenge to the Tian family and make it known to everyone? Qing Yin walked on the mountain road at the lowest level. She turned her head to look at Yin Luofeng in confusion, blinking her eyes curiously. In order to inform someone about this matter, Yin Luofeng's eyes slightly sank as he said, "Ever since Tianya left with Xiao Bai, she didn't know where they went. If she wanted to inform Tianya, this was the only way. This was the purpose of her letter of challenge." "Miss, who do you want to inform?" Qing Yin became more and more curious. She stared at Yin Luofeng without blinking. Facing the little girl's curious gaze, Yin Luofeng smiled mysteriously. "You will know later." At the top of Sky Mountain, there was a mansion that towered into the clouds. This residence was luxurious and imposing, and it was the size of a city. It was unknown just how many disciples lived in this residence. At this moment, in the study room of the mansion, the old man stopped writing and frowned at the middle-aged man who came in to report. "Shinner, how is the matter? Is that old thing, Tian, you willing to return to the Tian family?" "Father." The middle-aged man smiled bitterly. He said that he wanted to find the whereabouts of Fu Sheng and wasn't willing to return to the Tian family. "I think Tianya's heart isn't on our Tian family. Why not just give up?" "No, Pa." The old man exerted strength in his hand, and the brush in his hand was broken into two. With a gloomy face, he coldly said, "Tianya is a member of the Tian family. We must let him return to the Tian family." "Father, Tianya is so in love with that woman, fleeting life. Why don't we get someone to disguise themselves as her to seduce Tianya?" "No." The old man shook his head. "Tianya is no longer the him from decades ago. His medical skills are brilliant now. No disguise technique can escape his eyes." Tian Xin fell silent. After a long time, he opened his mouth and said, "Father, there are many outstanding people in the younger generation of the Tian family. We can nurture them. Why must it be Tianya?" The old man helplessly sighed. "Tianya is not only powerful, his medical skills are also brilliant. Even the Doctors' Association is below him. Such a person must belong to the Tian family, even if the Tian family has to obey his orders. Unfortunately, because he was hurt too deeply back then, he no longer cares about the Tian family." Chapter 512. By the way, Tian Xin seemed to have thought of something and asked, "I heard that some time ago, Tian Houching from the Side family brought back a young lady. This young lady had already entered the Tian family a few years ago. The result of the test was that her talent was mediocre and she would never be able to step into the intermediate martial practitioner realm. However, in just a few years, she has already become a high martial practitioner." "Oh." The old man raised his eyebrows. "Ask Tian Houching to bring this young lady to see me." "Yes, father." Tian Xian hesitated and looked like he wanted to say something, but stopped. "Is there anything else?" The old man glanced at him and asked, "Father, that young lady," Tian Xian frowned, "is the servant of the lady of the general's residence in Long Yuan country. The lady of the general's residence is furious and has challenged the Tian family." "The lady of the general's residence? How's her talent and strength?" the old man asked disapprovingly. Tian Xin thought for a while and replied, "Her talent is not bad. She has already become an earth spirit at the age of 15. This was because only the Ning family knew about what had happened to Yin Luofeng in the Ning family. Furthermore, in order to prevent Yin Luofeng from attracting trouble, the Ning family had sealed off all information about her. That was why these people did not know that she had already become a sky spirit. An earth spirit is simply an ant-like existence. There's nothing to be afraid of." The old man smiled faintly. "At that time, you can just find a branch family member who's an earth spirit to deal with her. A person with such a lowly status isn't worthy of the direct descendant of the Tian family." "Yes, father." Tian Xin cupped his fists respectfully and strode out of the door. Not long after, a disciple of the Tian family walked in with a young girl. Beside the young girl was a middle-aged man, and the man's eyebrows were somewhat similar to the young girl's. Master. The middle-aged man was a little excited. He never thought that the high and mighty master would meet him one day. The old man nodded slightly and said indifferently, "This is your daughter?" "Yes, master." The middle-aged man hurriedly pushed the young lady and said anxiously, "Ling Er, when you see the master, quickly kneel down." However, the young lady beside him did not move. Her lively eyes were now filled with coldness. "Ling Er, kneel down." The middle-aged man shouted coldly and commanded loudly. Zhong Linger's lips curved into a mocking smile. "I, Zhong Linger, do not kneel to the heavens or the earth. I only kneel to my master. Who do you think you are to make me kneel?" Even though the middle-aged man knew that Zhong Linger had a stubborn temper, he didn't expect her to be so stubborn to this extent. He was so scared that cold sweat broke out all over his body, and he quickly kowtowed a few times. "Clan head, this girl just came back to the Tian family a few days ago. She still doesn't understand the rules. Clan head, please calm down." This damned girl. Not only was she courting death, she even wanted to implicate him. If he had known this would happen, he wouldn't have brought her back. "Oomph." The old man snorted and said expressionlessly, "You really need to teach her some manners. Such a lack of etiquette. Moreover, a member of my Tian family, even if it's just a side branch, is much more honorable than that young miss of the general's mansion. Yet, you actually dare to recognize a lowly person like her as your master. It's obvious that you're willing to lower yourself." Zhong Linger smiled coldly. "My master is much better than you people. If you catch me, my master will come and save me. At that time, she will definitely destroy your entire Tian family." "Ha ha ha." The old man laughed out loud. "Little girl, you think too highly of her. She's just an earth spirit. She can't threaten my Tian family." Chapter 5:13. Clearly, in the eyes of the old man, Yun Luofeng was just an insignificant existence. Zhong Linger snorted softly and turned her head away, not even looking at the old man. "Little girl." The old man's eyes darkened a bit as he sneered. "To be able to enter the Tian family, you should feel honored. No matter what, the Tian family's power is much stronger than the general's residence. You can only have a future if you contribute to the Tian family." Hearing the old man's words, Zhong Linger finally turned her gaze away and her lips curled into a mocking smile. "I wonder how you want me to contribute to the Tian family." "Hee hee." The elder's eyes flickered, and he said with a fake smile, "Little girl, your tibia is extremely poor. Theoretically speaking, it's impossible for a medium spiritualist to break through, but you've become an advanced spiritualist." Zhong Linger did not interrupt the old man, but the mockery on her face grew stronger and stronger. "So," the old man paused for a moment before he continued, "I'm guessing that you must have obtained some precious treasure that allowed you to break through so quickly. I wonder if you're willing to take out that treasure and let the head of the family reward you?" This old man almost said that he wanted Zhong Linger to give the treasure to the Tian family. "Sorry." Zhong Linger curled her lips, and her eyes were full of mockery. "I was able to break through to my current level because of my master's training. I don't have any treasure like you said." The old man's face suddenly darkened, and he narrowed his eyes. "Do you think I'm an idiot? What ability does Yin Luofeng have to help a person with such a poor bone to break through to the high martial artist realm? As a disciple of the Tian family, you're hiding something like this. Your sin is unforgivable." "Tian family?" When these two words fell into Zhong Linger's ears, hatred appeared in her eyes. "My surname is Zhong. I don't believe in the heavens, and I'm not a disciple of the Tian family." "Presumptuous." Slap. When a middle-aged man heard Zhong Linger's rebellious words, he slapped her. In an instant, her delicate and cute little face turned red, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. "Rebellious girl, who allowed you to speak to the master like this? If it wasn't for me, where would you be in this world? Now that you dare to disobey, immediately kneel and apologize to the master." Zhong Linger clenched her fists and sneered. "I'd rather not be born into this world than have a biological father like you." "No, You're not worthy to be my father. You're just a beast. Shut. The middle-aged man stared at her and said, Your mother is just a village woman from the countryside. To be my child, it's your mother's fortune. Otherwise, with someone like you, you will never be able to step into the Tian family for the rest of your life. Now kneel down. Zhong lingers eyes of ling of zhong of. Ling of ling of ling L-O-Y. Ling and zhong of ling. Ling linger of. The middle-aged man kicked Zhong Linger's knee. In an instant, Zhong Linger's knee suddenly fell to the ground. However, just as she was about to kneel down, she suddenly stopped an inch away from the ground. Her legs trembled, her face was pale, and sweat rolled down from her forehead, staining the ground in front of her. The old man looked at Zhong of Ling in surprise. He didn't think that under such a powerful attack, she would still be able to not kneel on the ground. This kind of perseverance was enough to shock people. Unfortunately, the old man didn't know that in the half a year in the Yun family, the army had received a devil-like training. In this kind of training, everyone had developed an incomparably strong perseverance.